Courthouse.
All morning in this courtroom, it's pretty evident to me that the judge is very one-sided. He's conflicted.
Georgia Republican Congressman Andrew Clyde among the latest Trump supporters making the trip to New York and echoing the former president's criticisms of the trial. The U.S. is rejecting an effort at the International Criminal Court to seek arrest warrants for both Israeli and Hamas leaders. The ICC's chief prosecutor accusing both sides of war crimes. President Biden just out with a statement calling the decision outrageous and saying there's no equivalence between Israel and Hamas. Secretary of State Antony Blinken says arrest decisions could jeopardize ceasefire and humanitarian efforts. The U.S. Supreme Court declines to step into the fight over a gun ban in Maryland, but they could end up with the case later.
Maryland banned certain semi-automatic rifles after the Sandy Hook school shooting in Connecticut in 2012. Some gun owners and Second Amendment advocate groups sued. The Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals upheld Maryland's ban, and the Supreme Court did not review that decision. Now, though, the case is back being challenged following the Supreme Court's 2022 decision that said gun laws have to be in line with the nation's historical tradition of regulating firearms.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. The lower court is still weighing the renewed challenge, the Supreme Court declining to intervene in the meantime. America is listening to Fox News.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-822-1716. 800-822-1716.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
89 for the high. There's just a tiny chance of a pop-up thunderstorm tonight. Partly cloudy skies, 72 on Tuesday. Partly to mostly sunny skies. It's hot and windy. 92 on Tuesday. 93 the record from 1941. So we're going to be flirting with that number. Tuesday night, developing showers and thunderstorms. Some could be strong. That continues into Wednesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Would you just give your house key to criminals? Having your personal information on the internet is like giving a thief the key to your home. They can take everything that's valuable to you anytime. But JoinDeleteMe.com can help you protect yourself. Online data brokers compile information about you and sell it to people who could ruin your life. But JoinDeleteMe.com scours the web, removes the personal information you don't want seen, and prevents data brokers, scammers, identity thieves, even political enemies from getting personal information that could hurt you, your family, or your reputation. You'll get regular reports detailing what they find and remove. And JoinDeleteMe.com isn't AI. It's real people working to keep your data safe. Keep your private life private with JoinDeleteMe.com. Today, get 20% off your Delete Me plan when you go to JoinDeleteMe.com/news and use promo code NEWS at checkout. Go to JoinDeleteMe.com/news and enter code NEWS at checkout. That's JoinDeleteMe.com/news, code NEWS.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314 332-2885.
Hey homeowners, it's time to transform your house into a masterpiece with Lakeside Renovation and Design, your James Hardie siding experts. Picture this, durable, weather-resistant siding that doesn't just protect, but elevates your home's value and curb appeal. James Hardie, the gold standard in siding, installed by the pros at Lakeside. Say goodbye to maintenance headaches and hello to a home that stands the test of time. Ready for a siding upgrade? Lakeside Renovation and Design is your go-to. Visit our showroom or call today. Unleash the potential of your home with James Hardie Siding.
Download the free Upside app and earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Download the free Upside app now and use promo code GIFT for an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first fill-up. That's promo code GIFT.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Cohen was given this payment that he negotiated with Weisselberg, and this included the Stormy Daniels repayment that was, quote, grossed up so that Cohen didn't have to take a tax burn on it. This just happened now, okay? Plus, in addition, he was paying a tech firm and a firm called Red Finch. And Cohen confirms that he owed Red Finch 50 grand and never paid the full cash. Trump's attorney, Bland, says, you stole from the Trump organization. Cohen says, yes, sir. He also confirms lying to Alan Weisselberg. I don't know how many that is on the list, but that's another prevarication. And Cohen says he never pleaded guilty to larceny. On they go. Blanche presses Cohen. You did steal from the Trump organization based upon the expected reimbursement from Red Finch. And he says, yes, sir. So that just happened in court.
Okay, the sky is blue, the grass is green, Michael Cohen's a liar. Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Not much has changed over the course of a weekend, at least not according to this Donald Trump sham trial in New York, in Manhattan, where Alvin Bragg has cooked up something to try to get Trump. And he said he was going to, so I don't know why we would be surprised when they follow through and try to make it happen. Hope you're having a wonderful Monday. It's going to be hot outside today. I don't know how many of you were able to enjoy the beautiful St. Louis weather yesterday. I prefer, Brad, a temperature of 86 degrees.
You had every bit of that yesterday.
And it was about, I was at the Cardinals game, and I remember looking over, and it was 88 degrees, and it was perfect, but I was sitting in the shade. So that 88 degrees in the sun, not so much. But it felt like summer. It felt like summer baseball, and I was all about it. We've got a great show for you today. We're going to be speaking in about, 17 minutes here with Tulsi Gabbard. Is going to come on the show. We have her scheduled. She was going to be at 12:10. We have her scheduled to do a video interview with us on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, so you can come watch us there. And we pushed it back a little bit. She was running late, and she said she could do a phone call at 12:10, which is when we had originally scheduled her. But we're like, we could wait 15 minutes if that could make it so she could do the video interview with us. So if you want to watch Tulsi come on the show with us and have that conversation, we would love to have you visit the Annie Fry YouTube channel, maybe for the first time. And while you're there, you can vote in today's YouTube live chat poll. Do you support Harrison Butker? Yes or no? I talked about this last Thursday. I think we took about 2 segments to discuss the Harrison Butker situation. And, along the lines of the sky is blue, the grass is green, Michael Cohen's a liar, and the Catholics are Catholic. That's maybe that's not as true as anymore as it should be. But the Harrison Butker thing is not going away. And it's interesting to watch a lot of people react in rage to comments that he never actually made. So we want to know what you think. Have you listened to, maybe you heard us talking about it Thursday. We played more clips than just the one where he discussed the idea of women being proud to be homemakers. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Harrison Butker in this show. 1:45, maybe it might make it into the 2 o'clock hour when we dive into the poll question discussion with your comments a little bit later. But ironically, I was talking about my life and my career last week in an completely off-air conversation. I was telling a story. Someone asked me how I got into radio. And when I was telling that story, I realized that there was a direct congruency to what Harrison Butker was saying. And so I'm going to share that with you a little bit later in the show. But we want to know, do you support Harrison Butker, yes or no? Notice that the word support is not the same thing as agree. Wouldn't it be refreshing if we could societally go back to that place where you didn't have to agree or disagree with everything in order for it to be permitted to be in existence? I mentioned we were going to talk to Tulsi Gabbard here in about 14 minutes from now, so you want to stick around for that. I can't wait to have that conversation with her. I did read her whole book, and I highly recommend it because, Brad, I would say that Tulsi Gabbard is one of the most interesting people in politics based on what you would know before you read the book.
Right. I would agree with that.
And she's the type of person who in politics, you have to shut up and listen to what she says in order to know what she thinks, because she has been one of very few who have defined herself and her political beliefs and perspectives and foundations. She's worked very hard to define herself as a person and not allow herself to be defined by the party. There are a few people in the Republican Party that come to mind, like a Rand Paul, prior to that, a Ron Paul. Maybe some other people who on the other wing of the Republican Party have done the same thing. I can think of a Joe Lieberman in the Democrat Party who have kind of shirked he became an independent from the Democrat Party, so that's similar. I think that Joe Manchin sort of espoused that, but not really in the same foundationally principled way that Tulsi Gabbard has. And Tulsi Gabbard is one of the top names listed every time people talk about a Donald Trump VP slot. And I think it's interesting, and guilty as charged here myself, before I read her book, of assuming that because she was a Democrat, that she hasn't done enough to prove to me that she would be a good fit as a Republican vice presidential candidate. Now, I'm neither here nor there. Trump's going to pick who he's going to pick, and Trump is the ticket.
Yes.
But if you're going to put somebody on that ticket with them, I'm going to want to know about them. I'm going to want to learn about them. And there is no better way to learn about Tulsi Gabbard, who she is, why she is the independent today that she is, why she left the Democratic Party. And one of the questions I'm going to ask her is, you left the Democrat Party, but that didn't inherently mean that you became a Republican. And in a binary two-party system, if you're not a Democrat, are you a Republican? If you're not a Republican, are you a Democrat? I think now more than ever, that's not necessarily true because both parties have some soul searching to do. Both parties are in a position right now to kind of have to commit to a definition of who they are and why they are what they are. And I think it's interesting in my lifetime, having been born in the early 80s myself, watching really the transition of the conservative party being more of the party of an idea. In my lifetime, shifting from where in the 80s and the 90s, like, this is what Republicans are. Like, you could pick one out if you saw them. Mm-hmm. And Democrats are just kind of more free-spirited. They're more liberal in the way that they wanted to live their lives. And the number one thing that I thought that I knew about the Democrat Party growing up, being a Reagan baby and understanding what it was like to live life under Bill Clinton, who, for whatever faults that he has, was able to work across the aisle with Republicans and Newt Gingrich and still get things done that I think arguably in many ways, especially comparative to the way Democrats and Republicans work together now, there were ways that Bill Clinton left the country better than he found it. Mm-hmm. Do I think a Republican could have done a better job? I know that I could work to make that case, but comparative to where we are right now and what the Democrat Party looks like right now, which is what you'll read a lot about in her book, For Love of Country, Leave the Democrat Party Behind. She's clearly advocating as a former Democrat who represented Democrats in Congress. She was a state senator in Hawaii. She served her country. She has given of herself in pretty much every, in my mind, thoughtfully patriotic way that you can give of yourself and serve. Her message right now is leave the Democrat Party behind for love of country. That's the name of the book. And I have to ask myself, is the full thought there, for love of country, leave the Democrat Party behind, become a Republican? Are the Republicans even doing enough to make that part of the natural consideration? What about the Republican Party is so obvious to people who feel politically homeless and independent, that don't fit in this binary system, the two-party system that really causes our republic to run? There are a lot of people who have said, I'm leaving this Democrat Party behind. I love when America is too much to stay Democrat. It is a wake-up call, a clarion call for Republicans to make sure that when these Democrat voters, these people who are Democrats, decide to pivot their gaze away from the Democrat Party and their way of thinking and their approach to look inward at themselves and what they stand for, and to challenge what they've been told they support by the party that they used to support, to look inward and say, if this conflicts, if my heart and my principles conflicts with what the Democrat Party stands for, I can no longer stand for the Democrat Party. For Love of Country is a whole outlook on why that was the case personally for Tulsi Gabbard. But you'll notice she is a registered independent. She hasn't just gone from flip to flop over to be in the Republican Party, because I'm sure that there are things about the Republican Party that don't fit into her positioning on certain policies that the Republican Party would advocate for over what the Democrat Party used to, or maybe no longer does. The thing that I find most compelling about her book, and I listened to the full audio version of it, and she reads it, and she has an impeccable voice to listen to. So if you are like me and you don't have time to sit down and open up, I love the feel of a new book. I love the smell of a new book. It puts me right to sleep. I can't do it. I have not enough time in my day with 4 children to raise. They see me open a book and they're like, oh, this is me time. Will you read, The Farmer in the Dell to me? And then you just say, I'm like, how about, let's sit down, 2-year-old Molly, and learn about an American hero, Tulsi Gabbard. Page 1. Maybe I should start doing that. Maybe my entire perspective on this is wrong. If I put on Audible and I get the audiobook, I can knock that sucker out. And it pulls you in, especially when the person reading the book to you is compelling. And when it's the author itself, that is a treasure. And Tulsi reads this book, and you can hear it. There's amazing grace in the middle of it, like literally. In Hawaii, it's just amazing. You need to listen to it. Get it on Audible. You'll appreciate it. Is it necessary for the people who are leaving the Democrat Party, or I would even say the converse, for people leaving the Republican Party for whatever particular reason, is it a necessity that they then consider the counterparty? I don't know that it really is. Is it possible to be an independent who votes Republican mostly? Is it possible to be an independent who, leans left on a lot of things? Is it possible to be a Republican on national issues, but maybe a Democrat closer to home on the local issues, or vice versa? You want to make sure that your local taxes stay low, so you want more fiscally conservative people on your county board or whatever it might be? I actually think that that's the way of the future, which is why our political parties, we need to understand what the ideas are, the foundational elements of what is represented with these political parties, because I've said this before, the Republican Party is the Big Ten party right now. The Democrats will tell you so quickly why you were wrong, what you need to know, what boxes you need to check in order for you to be in the right by being on the left. I just don't think that that's the future of a country that's based on freedom and liberty and small government. But my challenge to the people on the Republican side of the aisle is to look at the purge that is taking place on the left and make sure that we are running people who espouse those ideas of liberty when it comes to the ballot box. And you do have people in who are looking to vote, and they are newly independent. They know what they don't like about the Democratic Party. They probably remember what they're told not to like about the Republican Party, but everything is new and fresh. What is it that as Republicans we have to offer these people that is enticing and real and true? That's the question that we need to answer, and that's how we win our country back. Now, Tulsi Gabbard, who's going to be on with us here in a few minutes, wrote the book For Love of Country, Leave the Democrat Party Behind, and I'm going to ask her some questions about her amazing book. Finished it this morning, and I'm really grateful that you took the time to do it because it's a great read. And she is a great author, and of course, in the Audible book, she reads it to you. Let's take a quick break because when we come back, Tulsi Gabbard, a New York Times bestselling author, 4-term Congresswoman, and a lieutenant colonel in the United States Army Reserves, joins us to talk about why she left the Democrat Party behind.
On a breeze, baby, get ready.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
I'm gonna take you to a special place that nobody knows. Baby, get ready.
I want to talk to you about Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance and how important it is to make sure that you have the very best people when it comes to listing your home and getting a great deal, selling it on time, not wasting time in the process of preparing your home, or if you're in a position where you're not 100% sure if it is time to sell. Of course, we are going to talk later in the show about interest rates and so on and so forth. But right now, what I want you to understand with Jen Teskey is when it comes time to sell and you are looking to make sure that you get the most out of that because you're going to have to put that money into the next house you buy, that you have somebody who can help you navigate that situation with ease and with honesty. That's something that is incredibly important when it comes to real estate situations, especially people who are willing to be honest with you about your own house in order to put it in the best light, to sell for top dollar and in the right amount of time. That's Jen Teskey. She specializes on the Illinois side of the river, especially in Edwardsville, Glen Carbon, Maryville, Troy, and Collinsville. And she's waiting for your phone call, 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010. JenTeskeyHomes.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Even if you've tried before and were unsuccessful in getting rid of your timeshare, call today and see if we can help. We offer a complete 100% unconditional client satisfaction guarantee. Make this completely free call and learn how we can help you legally put an end to your timeshare nightmare once and for all. You have nothing to lose, so call right now to qualify and receive a free consultation.
Call 800-838-8614. 800-838-8614. That's 800-838-8614.
Paid for by Airtime Media.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com. The Illinois Republican State Convention is in Collinsville this Friday and Saturday. And if you want to plug in and help elect conservatives in Illinois, this is the place to be. The Annie Fry Show is broadcasting live from noon to 3 p.m. Listen in right here on 97.1 or stop by in person this Friday.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I just want to use your love tonight. I don't want to lose your love tonight.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Thanks for being with us. Beautiful Monday afternoon here in St. Louis. We're glad that you are here. And I'm so excited to have our next guest join the Annie Fry Show here. We're speaking with New York Times bestselling author Tulsi Gabbard, a 4-term Congresswoman and combat veteran currently serving as Lieutenant Colonel in the U.S. Army Reserve. And we're going to talk about her first book, For Love of Country, which is topping the bestseller charts, available now. And Congresswoman, so great to have you. You and I spent some time together. I listened to the audio version of the book, and I was so pleased to get to know so much more about you. Thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you so much, Annie. It's great to join you. And thank you for taking the time to read and to listen to the book. I really put a lot of my heart and time into it because of what we're facing as a country right now, and the hopes and really the knowledge that there are a lot of other Americans who have their own path that's very similar to mine, former Democrats, maybe even current Democrats, people who are politically homeless, and yet who are in a place, unfortunately, where they're too afraid to stand up and speak the truth.
Yeah, I think that going into this book, I was so intrigued at the opportunity to take you in your own words, because I think you're one of the most interesting enigmas that have come out of Washington, D.C. I know that's how we kind of got to know you, is you coming out of Washington, D.C. I'm sure people who go there don't want to be defined by that. But to understand, your book is about leaving the Democratic Party, but that doesn't automatically turn you into Republican. And so people are kind of wondering, like, who are you if you don't fit in this two-party system? What do you stand for? And you lay this out beautifully about the things you care about most. And the thing that I learned the most about you is your long legacy that you've had serving both your country in the military, in political service, and even, in Hawaii, the land that you love there. I think that service is at the key of this. And we do not live in a culture right now that emphasizes serving.
Yeah, Annie, I'm smiling right now because I have been called a quote unquote political enigma for as long as I've been involved with politics.
That's a compliment.
And it is a compliment. It's a reflection of who I am, which is I'm an independent minded person, and my love and my loyalty and my commitment and dedication is to our country and to the American people, not one party or another party. Obviously, there are practical implications of political parties in our system, and I'm very cognizant of that. But for anybody to be simply judged by or forced to fit into a specific box or a specific label, it's just not real. It's not how we are as humans. There are some things I agree with and some things I disagree with, and that's one of the things that I talk about in my book. Was what attracted me originally to the Democratic Party was that it seemed to be a big open tent party that welcomed people who had different ideas and different experiences to actually come and talk through how do we solve the great challenges of our day, and know that even if we're not starting out on the same page, if we share the same objective, we can get to that best solution through an open dialogue and discussion, through exercising our right to free speech and freedom of expression. And of course, now fast forward 20 plus years, that doesn't exist in today's Democratic Party. Yeah. It's one of the most disturbing things because of our fundamental right to free speech and how the Democratic Party has become so undemocratic and so unwelcoming, or completely rejecting people who don't conform to whatever their specific narrative or agenda is of the day. You look at the Republican Party now, and I have a lot of friends in the Republican Party, people I worked with throughout my 8 years in Congress. And, some people, if you watch the mainstream cable news, are like, oh gosh, what's wrong with these people? And even some Republicans ask me, like, how are Democrats like so disciplined? They all do whatever their boss says to do. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing to have a political party that is welcoming of people with very different ideas and views on how to solve these problems. And that's what we should encourage more of in the country, regardless of what party you belong to.
I agree wholeheartedly. Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard with us right now. I want to pull out one little anecdote that really just hit the juxtaposition kind of to what you're saying right there about, a representative goes to Congress, you go to Capitol Hill because you are representing constituents. Now, those constituents for you are in Hawaii. You tell a story here about, and you've been very peace forward, I'll put it that way. You've talked about nuclear war quite a lot as a very serious issue. And there was a time during the Obama administration where there was going to be some action in Syria. And you talked a little bit in your book about a woman you met at a gas station. And then you followed that up with a phone call you got from the chief of staff from the first lady. And I had to ask myself, I had to pause and say, man, once you get there, once you get inside the Beltway, who are you representing? Is it the constituent or the party? And I was going to ask you if you could maybe share a little bit about those two individuals who you spoke to about that. It's really powerful.
Yeah, thanks, Annie. And this directly connects to what we just talked about the difference between blind party loyalty and allegiance, putting party ahead of what's best for the country rather than the other way around, actually putting what's best for the country first and foremost, which is why I titled the book that I did. It is for love of country that I am who I am and that I do what I do. When I was first elected to Congress and sworn in as a new member of Congress, in a very unexpected way to me, there was a lot of noise and positive coverage and soft news stories about me as I was coming as a new member of Congress, a lot of excitement in the Democratic Party. People saying she's the rising star, she's the future, all of these things. They didn't really know who I was. They had read the top lines about me or my bio, but very quickly within those first few months of my being in office, they recognized I was not going to allow myself to be a puppet for them and their interests, and that the reason why I ran, the priorities that I came and brought with me to Congress was to serve our country and to honor my brothers and sisters who I served with overseas in the Middle East, who never made that trip home, who made that ultimate sacrifice. And so the story you're talking about actually happened about 6 or 7 months after I had been in Congress. President Obama came to Congress seeking authorization to start a new regime change war in the Middle East, this time in Syria. And after I looked at this woman, heard about it in the news, and she stopped me as I was pumping gas in Kapolei on the island of Oahu. And I didn't know who she was, but she grabbed my arm and with tears welling up in her eyes, just shared how she had been so concerned about her son who had been deployed. He had finally come home, and she was terrified about the difficulty in transition that he was having of going from being at war for so long and now coming home, only to have this threat popping up in the news that he may be forced to go back yet again. And her fear was that I may lose him forever. I just got him back. They want to take him away again, and for what? And so I've never forgotten that exchange I had with her. I had others similar to that with many people after that. But after going and doing the analysis of what the president was asking of Congress, I came to the conclusion that this is not in the best interest of the American people or our country. There's no clear objective. There's no exit plan. And we would end up likely in yet another decades-long boondoggle like we've seen happen too often in the Middle East. I said that publicly, was the first Democrat to come out against President Obama's request, and immediately got a call from the White House saying, how dare you, not based on substantive differences. The message was, how dare you go against your team? How dare you go against your president without care for, well, Tulsi, you've been deployed twice to the Middle East. Maybe you have some experience about your concerns. And so this, again, is further evidence of the problem of what happens with politicians who put party before country.
It was very frustrating for me to hear that, but I think it's realistic to think about the party pressure that gets put on people once they go to represent. But it's not just intra-party that pressure hits. I mean, we've seen, you talk in your book also about the Google suppression. You had this great peak of interest after your debate, and that was immediately like, oh, that's problematic. We got to stop that. Google participated in squashing that, and now we know in 2024 how much more big tech has participated in shaping the narrative. And, with everything that you've learned, Tulsi, with the really great force to keep you at bay in the Democrat Party so much that you said, peace out, that I wonder how much of the whole narrative has been shaped for us and how many Americans are kind of waking up going, everything that I've been told for so long, it just doesn't feel right. They got a gut feeling. The Biden administration is not really making the case very strongly for the Democrat Party. Like, where do you think the mental space is right now for the average, not super politically involved American voter?
Yeah, first, just real quick, you mentioned Google, you mentioned big tech, a lot of the evidence that has actually come to light in the years after my own personal experience of Google intervening on behalf of the Democratic National Party. People ask me, in my book, I talk a lot about the Democrat elite. They say, who are the Democrat elite? Well, those are two examples. It is not only the elected figureheads of the party that we know of, Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, but it is their partners in the mainstream media. It is big tech and social media moguls. It is those who are willing to do their bidding. It is their multi-billion-dollar funders like George Soros. These are the people pulling the strings. These are the people making decisions. I think because of the consequences of these insane policies, like trying to tell us a boy can be a girl anytime he says, I am a girl, forcing girls into a position where Title IX is totally destroyed, and any possibility of a true, fair, and equal level playing field for women and girls in sports is gone out the window under this administration. You look at things like defund the police, their open border policies and how they're affecting communities and cities all across the country. I think as these things continue to escalate, more and more Americans do have that gut feeling that I don't pay attention to politics, but what's happening is not good. My paycheck is going shorter and shorter. I can't afford to buy the things that I used to be able to afford. These things are becoming harder and harder for people to deny. I'm encouraging them to recognize the cause of people's problems through this book, and therefore then recognize, okay, what do I as an American need to do about this? Because we all have to own our responsibility to save our country, to defend our freedom.
Congressman Tulsi Gabbard with us right now. We're speaking about her latest book, For Love of Country, Leave the Democrat Party Behind. I encourage you to get it. I've read it myself, and I highly recommend it to get a full understanding in Tulsi's own words, who she is and why she's not a Democrat anymore and where she is right now. I mean, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention your presidential aspirations that have existed, and you really did, even in the midst of all of the opposition, get the attention of the American people. I'm curious if you still have those presidential aspirations, if they're near to your heart right now, or how you feel about a potential run once again.
The thought has never entered my mind that I am, I've chosen a quote unquote political career. I've never seen it that way. And so I've never aspired, oh, well, one day I will be president for the sake of being president. I have no interest in that. My run for the presidency in 2020, and if I were to run again, would be rooted in a recognition that that there is not someone else already stepping up to the plate who I feel confident in is committed to our Constitution, committed to putting the American people first, who is not beholden to the military-industrial complex, and who takes seriously my brothers and sisters in uniform and the choice that we've made to lay down our lives for our country and understand the cost that comes with that decision between war and peace. If that person is there, then I wouldn't need to run for president. Whether I run again or not, I don't know. My goal is to serve our country and to uphold the oath that I took to the Constitution.
If I may, just one final question. We're speaking with Tulsi Gabbard about her latest book. When people like you feel as though, maybe I didn't leave the Democrat Party, the Democrat Party left me, somewhere in there where positions haven't totally changed, but you just don't You don't recognize the party that you used to support. People are compelled right now to think it's the Democrat Party and Trump. And the idea of leaving the Democrat Party and directly supporting Trump seems like a jolt for a lot of people. You've experienced time with Donald Trump as an individual, as a man, as somebody who has run this country. What advice do you give to those people who feel like this Democrat Party isn't for me anymore, knowing that Donald Trump is the consequence of less support for the Democrat Party?
I just encourage people to set whatever, feelings or emotions that they may have around certain individuals aside and actually focus on the consequences of policies. This is a unique time in our country where we have two people running against each other, both asking to be our president and both who have served as president. They actually have a record that we can look to. We don't just have to buy what they're saying and hope they mean what they say. There's an actual record and comparison to know what kind of president they would be and the results of their policies. And so whether we're talking about border security, the economy, the inflation that we are continuing to experience now for years, we look at foreign policy and domestic policy. We look at the security of our country and our ability to live in safe and peaceful communities. You may not be hope inspired. You may not have your ideal dream candidate. This is the real world that we live in. And the choice that we have before us, in my view, is very clear. And the differences are stark.
Yeah.
People will make their decisions on election day. But I just encourage people to make sure that those are informed decisions and think about what is in the best interest of you and your kids, your family, and our ability to live in a truly free, safe, and peaceful society.
Yeah, but we have such a clear choice in front of us, and this current way of doing things is not sustainable. Tulsi Gabbard, the book is For Love of Country, Leave the Democrat Party Behind. I encourage people to check out the audiobook because you have a wonderful voice to listen to, keep you company for a while. Thank you so much for the time today. It's been an honor to have you.
Great to talk to you, Annie. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You as well. We've been speaking with Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard, a New York Times best-selling author, 4-term Congresswoman, and Lieutenant Colonel in the United States Army Reserve. And her book is For Love of Country, Leave the Democrat Party Behind. And if you've ever wondered about Tulsi Gabbard, and I certainly have, because she's been interesting to watch in her journey from running for the Democrat nomination to leaving the Democrat Party and speaking in a supportive way towards Donald Trump. The interesting thing is when you listen to her words in the book, she didn't change. Her principles, the things that guided her in her support for the Democrat Party, honestly, I didn't hear anything that she talked about that I'm diametrically opposed to in principle. And her willingness to stay true to those things, even as the political worlds shifted around her, I find incredibly admirable. I think, honestly, one of the most interesting people in politics right now. And you got to check out the book. Is she going to be the vice president of the United States? I don't know. I could ask her that question and she'd say the same thing, I assume. Unless she would. I did miss the opportunity for her to break the news here, to scoop Trump. Trump's in a courtroom. Maybe Tulsi's going to be the VP and she drops it on the Annie Fry show. The likelihood of that happening, not too big. But Brad, if I screwed that up, man, just send me home.
Yeah, I'm probably going to have to go home too.
Yeah. I just respect her, and I didn't want to make that whole conversation with her about the parties, about the national fodder over VP stuff. I think that is for another day.
Absolutely. A lot of what that interview was about and what I really, really enjoyed about that interview was it's all the stuff that underlies everything. What is the purpose of going to Washington, D.C.? Who do you serve? And for her, it's the people, and we need more politicians and more representatives like that.
The person in the book who she says called her to chastise her for speaking out against Barack Obama's Syria thing is Michelle Obama's chief of staff. Called her to say, how dare you go against the president? And I just think about being a Democrat representative from Hawaii who has served and understands the real meaning of that, which, I'm sure that there are political points that I would agree with her and disagree with her on, like as far as what policy she would enact. But boy, would I have to defer to her knowledge of firsthand experience of having seen what she'd seen. And to think that she would have that knowledge and be talking to near weeping mothers saying, please don't send my son back there. He won't make it if he goes because it had affected him so deeply the other times that he was sent to fight. And then to stand up because your true values were opposed in opposition, the way she ran. She's been consistent about her peace forward efforts to speak out on that. And to think that Michelle Obama's chief of staff would say, who do you think you are? I appreciate that she stood by her guns, so to speak. Wiggins America, we come back. I like having Ryan Wiggins follow Tulsi Gabbard on the Annie Fry Show. We'll see how he does. He'll be in here, and he's going to give us the Monday roundup, the stories that you might have missed along the way. I feel like we should have like cicada updates every day, but by virtue of the pressure to do that, I want to have none. I think he does have a cicada story, though. I think I saw one in his list. So we'll get at least a little update here in the Midwest from our cicada invasion. Ryan Wiggins, we come back.
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Trying to stop my hands from shaking. Something in my mind's not making sense. It's been a while since we were all alone.
TheDiamondShop.net. If you're looking for something very special for someone this summer, I want you to check out what the Diamond Shop has to offer. They have 30% off all in-stock jewelry right now. Just visit them in Clayton. They've been in St. Louis since 1910, but they're located right now in Clayton. A beautiful, easy to shop. And you get 30% off anything that is in stock right now and an extra 10% off if you become a VIP by visiting TheDiamondShop.net. Scroll to the bottom of the page, fill out a quick form, 10% back in your pocket. One of the things that I appreciate about the great people there is how attentive they are to making sure that they deliver on the goal of each and every individual customer, including my husband, who went for Mother's Day to get me this beautiful cross necklace that I'm wearing and don't really take off of my neck. And he drew it up and gave an idea to Tom, and Tom said, how about this? And then he whipped it up for me, and it is beautiful. It means so much to me to be able to wear this and to be able to tell people when they ask about it that it's from the Diamond Shop, because they're good people and they deserve good people like you to shop their business and make somebody else's day. If you're interested in shopping there, you can learn about them more online at thediamondshop.net.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, did you just have your house painted? Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, no, it's actually Rhino Shield.
877-25rhino.com.
If you have a problem with the IRS, believe me, it's not going away on its own. The IRS never gives up. They have endless resources, so they control the game. Well, your tax problems can end. I'm attorney Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm, a local tax resolution firm with an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. I've handled thousands of IRS cases over the last 15 years. So when you hire me, you won't be speaking long distance or sending money to some TV pitchman that's riddled with consumer complaints. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it will cost. So call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120. 612-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com. If you have IRS issues, you need a local attorney, you need me, Lance Drury.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential. But finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
He is the subject of our YouTube live chat poll today, Harrison Butker. Do you support Harrison Butker? Yes or no? And really, do you support him as a kicker? You could just approach it from that, but I think we're probably talking about his commencement
Very
speech.
open-ended.
Yeah, it's you can do whatever you want with the poll today. Do you support Harrison Butker? Yes or no? Type in Annie Fry when you get to YouTube, and the stream will come up along with the YouTube live chat poll. It is 12:52. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Are you a business owner? Do you want your voice and the voices of your clients represented? Let us do the talking. Join our community of free thinkers on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Learn more at 971talk.com/partner.
Well, I got a woman way over town that's good to me. Oh, yeah. Say, I got a woman way over town.
Wiggins. Oh! Monday Roundup. Yeah! This here's the wildest ride in the wilderness.
Ladies and gentlemen, the cicadas are here. And the last time these 13
Haven't seen one.
You haven't?
No.
Really?
I am avoiding them.
Well, as we all, well, I shouldn't say all.
No.
I am, for sure, and everybody I know is. The last time these 13-year and 17-year broods emerged in the same year was 1803.
I remember that. It was terrible.
I don't. So you're old. You're super old, as we all know. There's
You
a
just
lot.
forgot about it.
No.
I'm not, because I'm not that old. I
Yeah.
have my memory
He's
still.
He's that old.
Well done, Brad.
Dang it. You guys win.
Do you care about the cicadas?
Yeah, I do. I do care about the cicadas.
Do you care about them?
I do because...
Or do you care about the story?
No. I don't care about the story. Like, yes, we do radio, so it's a big story.
I'm super opposed to things that are supposed to be like great radio content like this.
No. This isn't great radio content.
Everybody's talking about the cicadas.
Everybody is talking about it.
That's why I don't want to.
Oh, you do? Okay. It's just because it's good,
I
you
feel like-
don't want to
No,
do it.
I didn't say it was good.
Man, I feel like this is going to be like the Aurora Borealis for me. I'm just
Feels
not gonna hear 'em.
obligatory. It feels like something you have to do. And as you can ask my father from my teen years, if I feel like I have to do it, it becomes a problematic situation.
I understand. But we're all Illinois. Do we agree that the cicadas are less of a deal in Illinois than they are in Missouri? Like,
Why,
they're worse.
Because we're more apathetic about them?
Yeah, we just don't. We're just like, just eat the crops. No.
Negative.
No, I don't see them nearly as much when I'm on my side of the river versus when I'm in Missouri.
Haven't seen one.
Haven't seen one either.
Have you been in Missouri?
I'm here right now.
Who's going to tell him?
Well, I was out this weekend in Fenton at the soccer park, and you...
Beating up on some kids again?
Yeah, my kids weren't playing.
No.
I was just like,
No,
I'm gonna show
they
these
were there.
kids- yeah.
They were there drinking juice out of tumblers, watching you do some work.
Right.
Yeah.
I was trying to make it onto
Showed up like Ted Lasso.
TikTok. Like, hey, somebody film this. This would be hilarious. Old guy tries to show up 7-year-olds. But I did hear them. We didn't see a lot of them, but the trees around there, it sounded like the middle of the summer at night with locusts. So they're everywhere, but we only saw a couple dead ones.
My husband said that he heard them the other day loudly, but I think they went to the zoo, and he said he drove through Forest Park, and it was deafening with the radio on and the windows up.
Is he sure they were cicadas and not monkeys?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
In light of today's YouTube live chat poll, do you support Harrison Butker? I figured I'd just bring this one up real quick. Pearl Jam played the MGM Grand in Las Vegas on May 18th.
I was really wondering what Eddie Vedder thought about anything.
I was too, yeah. Eddie Vedder.
I was unsure of how I felt about it, and I thought I need the lead singer of a really important band to establish thought on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What does Eddie Vedder think about Harrison Butker? And I was like, I hope social media doesn't tell me. I want to go hear it from him in person.
Yeah.
But they did. I did not make it to the show, and so social media filled me in.
Spoiler alert.
Here's the way Variety frames this. Butker has received, basically the story is that Vedder couldn't resist, in their words, eviscerating Kansas City Chiefs kicker Harrison Butker.
What did he say?
He said, one of the most important titles a woman could have is homemaker, but the irony was that the football player, kicker, you see, kicker doesn't have the pads because he doesn't tackle anybody or get tackled.
Yeah, the kicker's not important at all.
But he started telling men, don't forget to puff out your chest and be more masculine. Don't lose your masculinity. The irony was that what he was saying that he looked like such a blanking blank. I can't say the two words. I can't even.
Hunky hunk.
Hunky hunk. There's nothing more masculine than a strong man supporting a strong woman, Vedder said, to applause and cheers.
Which is, I would say, literally what Harrison Butker did.
Yes. The amazing thing is if you just read the first paragraph of this, it says Variety says that Butker has received enormous backlash for the speech in which he attacked Pride Month and shared his belief that women belong in the kitchen.
Lies.
Really.
Pearl Jam fan, Brad?
Not really.
Not really. And I would be honest, I just have never loved them. Music only, I still just don't love Pearl Jam.
Yeah. And you were an active participant in 90s culture.
Oh, I love.
So it's like in your
grunge.
wheelhouse.
Yeah, I should love them.
One more minute. What do you got?
One more. Let's see here. Okay. A woman from New Jersey claimed that an Atlantic City casino refused to pay her more than $1.2 million. She was at a Wheel of Fortune slot machine in New Jersey. It went off saying, you're a winner, and gold coins popped out. The guy next to her goes, oh my God, you hit. Lady, you're a millionaire. But after using a button to call for help, a tilt message appeared on the machine.
Oh, no.
And she said that an employee of the casino quickly appeared and told her that she had won nothing.
Oh!
She is now, of course, suing them for all of that money plus $1 million in emotional damage, which I kind of understand.
Yeah, within that amount of time?
No, get your payout. You don't need $1 million in feelings. Stop it. Just get your money.
I mean,
or get the mill and give it to the government, because that's about
out.
what it's going to take.
Come on.
Oh, man. That'd give me a heart attack.
I know.
Steve Moore, Stuart Rosenblum in the 1 o'clock hour. Don't go away.
Oh, yeah. She says loving.
Kick off your Memorial Day weekend as one of baseball's most historic rivalries returns to Busch Stadium. The Cardinals host the Chicago Cubs for their first 2024 trip to St. Louis, May 24th through the 26th. Tickets for this divisional showdown start at only $15, so don't miss out. Secure your seats today. That's the Cardinals and the Cubs this Memorial Day weekend starting at just $15. For tickets, visit Cardinals.com.
This is Jojo Romero, St. Louis Cardinals for the Lou.
Michaelis brings it home. Swing and a miss. He struck him out.
Budweiser's First Beer Fridays returns to Busch Stadium and tickets start at just $20. Catch the Cards and Cubs game on Friday, May 24th and enjoy your first beer on the house. Your First Beer Friday ticket will be loaded with Cards cash that can be used to purchase a Budweiser, Bud Light, Michelob Ultra, or any beverage of choice. For full details or to purchase tickets, visit Cardinals.com/Friday.
This is Miles Michaelis. Get your tickets now at Cardinals.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Condit
condemnation from both sides. Lisa Brady, Fox News. After an announcement targeting both sides in the Israel-Hamas fight, the chief prosecutor for the International Criminal Court seeking arrest warrants for 3 Hamas officials considered masterminds of the October 7th massacre, and 2 Israelis, including Prime Minister Netanyahu, accusing all 5 of war crimes and crimes against humanity.
There has been backlash from everyone included in today's decision, with Israeli political leadership calling the move a moral failure and Hamas condemning the ICC for including their officials in the announcement. Now, a panel of judges will now consider the validity of the request for arrest warrants, though the International Criminal Court does have limited enforcement capabilities.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Tel Aviv. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the announcement is what new anti-Semitism looks like. President Biden says there's no equivalence between Israel and Hamas, calling the application to arrest Israeli officials outrageous. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin getting questions about the helicopter crash that killed Iran's president and foreign minister.
The United States had no part to play in that crash, and that's a fact, plain and simple.
Adding the U.S. has no insights into the cause. Prosecutors at the New York trial of former President Trump using a redirect of their star witness, former attorney Michael Cohen, to try to regain some ground potentially lost in several days of defense cross-examination.
In the days that Cohen has spent on the stand, we've heard how he is a known liar, an admitted perjurer, has pleaded guilty to tax-related crimes. And now today, just this morning, in kind of a bombshell moment, Michael Cohen admitted to stealing from his own client, the Trump Organization.
Fox Business's Lydia Hu at the courthouse. The former president's charged with falsifying business records to reimburse Cohen for hush money payments to Stormy Daniels ahead of the 2016 election. The former president calls the case a sham. America is listening to Fox News.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-822-1716. 800-822-1716.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
89 for the high. There's just a tiny chance of a pop-up thunderstorm tonight. Partly cloudy skies, 72 on Tuesday. Partly to mostly sunny skies. It's hot and windy. 92 on Tuesday. 93 the record from 1941. So we're going to be flirting with that number. Tuesday night, developing showers and thunderstorms. Some could be strong. That continues into Wednesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
We're here to help you get registered to vote, whether you're in Missouri or Illinois. Democracy 2024 on 97.1 FM Talk. If you need help getting registered, go to 971talk.com/vote.
When you ask people here what's the one thing that makes Diamonds Direct their favorite jeweler, for some, it's the unbeatable pricing we get through our direct importer. No middleman connections. The foundation of our business since day one. For others, it's the uncompromising quality. From hand-selected diamonds to handcrafted designer rings. Only the best of the best. Some people put selection at the top of their list, as Diamonds Direct offers up to 30 times the options you expect from a typical jewelry retailer. For some, it's our luxurious showroom with diamond experts who genuinely care about your experience and happiness, and who are empowered to do whatever it takes for you. Others rave about Diamonds Direct's unmatched warranties and guarantees that include free service for life and an extraordinary 110% diamond upgrade promise. But you know the most often answer we get when asking what makes Diamonds Direct stand out? It's not one thing, it's everything. Diamonds Direct. Value, luxury, choices, and confidence. Get directions, hours, and more at diamondsdirect.com. Official partner of the St. Louis Blues.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
Hi, I'm Jim Brennan with McKelvey Homes, announcing our newest West County community in Creve Coeur. Doover Estates, located just north of Ladue Road on Mason Road. We're featuring our luxurious designer series homes, starting in the upper 800s. A private enclave of only 12 home sites, so hurry while they last. Visit McKelveyHomes.com. That's McKelveyHomes.com.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com or call us toll-free at 888-367-6512.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
The president and I, because of the Inflation Reduction Act, the Infrastructure Act, we are dropping trillions of dollars on the streets of America right now. To build back up our roads and our bridges, our sidewalks, to invest in a clean energy economy, to deal with the climate crisis in a way that is about building up adaptation.
So there you have Vice President Kamala Harris in front of a big banner that says Vice President Kamala Harris, economic opportunity for all. Because of the, just walk through this slowly with me. I got to make sure I understood these words. Because of the Inflation Reduction Act, we're dumping trillions of dollars on the street. And then the problem she indicates that we're solving there is climate change. What more do you need to know about the current administration and their economic policy? Well, I'm going to ask our friend Steve Moore that question, distinguished fellow in economics at Heritage Foundation and a Trump economic advisor. Steve, I don't know if you had heard that quote yet from Kamala, but woo, that is dumb. It just makes me mad to hear it.
Yeah, hey, Annie, good to be with you. That was in our hotline. It was a quote of the day a few days ago. She basically said we're spending trillions of dollars, and that's going to bring inflation down. Huh?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah, that's not the way it works.
And it's also going to lower the temperature of the planet as well. Did you know that? We're going to spend money, and that's going to change the global temperature. Look, Kamala Harris, very much like Joe Biden, has never really had a job, has never met a paycheck, has no idea how the economy works. And so when she says crazy things like that, it shows. And, by the way, if Biden were to win, and I don't think he will, but if he were to win, what are the chances that he'd make it through a 4-year term? Not very high, right? So that woman could easily be president of the United States, and she knows nothing. She's an ignoramus when it comes to, and I don't know how she is as a lawyer, but I can tell you when it comes to her economic understanding, she wouldn't pass a junior high exam.
Yeah. The thing that is the most insulting to me, it's not even their policies. It's that they will lie so patently about, we are dumping trillions of dollars on the street because of the Inflation Reduction Act. You got to ask yourself, do they understand what they're doing? And I worry that they understand exactly what they're doing, but they just feel as though they can get away with the massive expansion of government, which you know something about, by lying to the American people.
Well, it's called priming the pump. It's a grand American tradition that you spend and spend and spend before an election, and you pass out the pork and the gravy, and so that's what Biden is doing, but times 10 compared to what normally happens. And by the way, this used to just be called graft, right? When you use government expenditures to buy votes. That's what they're doing. They're going into Wisconsin, they're going to Pennsylvania, they're going into, Ohio, Michigan, Arizona, Georgia, and spending money like there's no tomorrow. And isn't Joe Biden generous? He's funding this daycare center. He's funding this, this zoo expansion. He's, this transit bus system, all this stuff. But I think Americans are smart enough to know that. Government doesn't. The only way the government can spend $1 is to take $1 away from you and me. It's not. It's not like this is additive.
Yeah. And I want to drill down a little bit. On the inflation part of this, because again, with the deceit that comes from these Democrat politicians, here is Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Our economy and people's paychecks are growing, and our nation is headed in the right direction thanks to his work.
So while our paychecks are growing, that's only one part of the equation, as I understand it, Steve Moore. They're not talking about the cost of everything going up, and that kind of brings in the conversation about the Dow hitting 40,000. I mean, when you factor in for inflation, none of this is as good as they're trying to make it seem in political campaigns.
Yeah, I mean, look, you cannot try to twist these things in a direction. And by the way, I've run on campaigns. You always try, if you're the incumbent, you always try to talk about how good things are. But you just have to ask Americans how they think. And 2/3 of Americans think the economy is headed in the wrong direction. They believe that prices are completely out of control. They believe the border's out of control. They believe crime's out of control. They believe things are going in a really miserable direction for the country in so many ways. I mean, when you look at what's happening with the nonsense on college campuses, I mean, how many universities had to cancel their, graduation ceremonies because of, nobody wants to stand up to these crazy kids. I don't know. I'm old enough to remember what happened in the 70s and when you had this kind of unrest on college campuses and the high prices. And people just said, I've had enough of this. We need new leadership. I guarantee this would not be happening if Trump were president.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was just thinking to myself that we live in such a wonderful and prosperous country that when things are good, we get to ignorantly dabble in socialistic ideas because they sound nice. And that's how much prosperity we have, that it's really difficult. You said you have served on campaigns. You were advising President Trump economically as well. How frustrating is it that once you've had the opportunity to implement your policies and things are going well, then everybody gets a little drunk on the success and they're like, oh, maybe we can give away all this stuff to everyone else and we can talk about the benefits that don't come from the actual work that you have to put in to reap those benefits.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, look, we were very proud of what we accomplished in Trump's first term. And I think, people now recognize how magnificent it really was until COVID hit. COVID really changed everything. And look, Trump made mistakes with COVID, no question about it. But he tried to, I was there in the Oval Office with him. I mean, he tried to get the economy up and running, and it was villains like Anthony Fauci and others who basically, were blocking the reopening of the economy and that kind of thing. But I think now people look back and, if you just objectively compare, okay, what happened to the economy under Trump and what happened under Biden? I've looked at 20 of the lead indicators, everything from gas prices to what groceries cost to insurance costs to inflation rates to poverty rates, et cetera, et cetera. And on 16 out of the 20 variables, measurements, Trump beats Biden.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, and people are starting to remember that. And anytime the economy starts to be front of mind for voters, it's usually in a negative way. If the economy is doing so great, voters start to be able to think about other things because they're not led by worry and anxiety. And that's where they are right now. Steve Moore, thanks for being with us today. We know you got to run, and we're always grateful for the time you have for us here on our show.
All right, Annie, have a great day.
Yep.
Talk to you soon.
You
Bye.
as well. Bye-bye. He's the author of Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. And it really is about the growth of government. It's very hard to put it all back in the box after everything has been out, kind of the toothpaste back in the tube scenario where you start spending and supporting things, and then you're spending and supporting everything. And everybody that is benefiting from that is also paying into that. At least if you're paying taxes, you're paying into that. And it's very unsustainable. Listen to a CBS News report here about Arizona and their voting habits.
These poll numbers from CBS News are really intriguing. In Arizona, we're looking at the issues of the economy and inflation driving the vote there. 80%, 82% of voters in Arizona, 78%, they say those issues are top of mind. And that's what we're hearing from voters on the campaign trail.
So the economy is very front of mind. 82% of Arizona voters saying that the economy and inflation are very key issues to how they're going to vote come this November election. Brad, I think that sometimes the way that if you're middle class America, it's you remember a time where it was more comfortable.
Yeah.
And now it is to a place where, wages are up for people, but they're not up enough to combat the inflation that is out there.
I'll give you a perfect example, and it's my life. Before I worked here, I was making significantly less money, but my wife and I were able to actually start paying down our mortgage early. We were paying extra each month. Well, since I started here, I'm making more money.
Yeah.
But the price of everything else has gone up so high that we're not able to make that extra payment anymore. And so what we were going to pay off our house now we're back on a regular schedule with it, and we just can't do as much. Like, one of the things we like to do is pay down debt as fast as we can. And then once you don't have debt, then you don't have a monster there eating.
You're free.
You don't have a monster eating your checks.
Yeah.
You don't have money that has to go out for these things. So we don't have car payments. We don't do things like that. But now we can't. Now we kind of, okay, can we make the house payment? All right, we got the house payment. Now how much do we have left for groceries? And we can do that. There's not a lot left over at the end of the month. And it wasn't like that.
And you're both in a position where your wages have increased over time, but it just isn't enough to keep up to make you feel like you should be unburdened, to use a Kamala Harris word, unburdened when you're making more income by, if you're, paying attention to your finances, you're living within your means, you make more money, you should be able to enjoy more things, save more money, pay off more debt. But for some reason right now, that's just not really possible for a lot of American people who are saying, what the heck's going on?
Yeah. It's frustrating to me because, it was still the case whenever I got this job, and I saw this job as, not only would I be able to do something cool, but it's going to make a huge financial difference. And not that it hasn't. The job has made a huge financial difference, because if I was still making what I was making before I got this job, we wouldn't be able to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Things would have hurt us. Now, we're not doing as good as we were before, even though I got a significant raise.
Or as good as you feel like it's okay to be like, no, I should be doing really well.
Yes.
That's the whole point.
Yes.
You shouldn't be able to, well, if you can still live within your means, you're fine. That's not the way this is supposed to work, but it certainly is the way that it is working, and it's got voters frustrated. All right. Good to speak with Steve Moore there. And in the first hour, 12:25, we had Tulsi Gabbard on the show. It was a pleasure to have her here. We did a video interview with her. So if you want to watch the interview, if you want to go back and you didn't hear everything, or you want to see it, this is radio. So being able to watch a couple people have a conversation, you see that on TV all the time, but you don't always get to see it from a radio standpoint. Go check it out on the Annie Fry YouTube channel and go vote in today's YouTube live chat poll. Do you support Harrison Butker? Yes or no? Simple question, and the word is support. I didn't say agree. I didn't say, did you buy his jersey? Because some of y'all went out and bought his jersey. Just do you support him? Yes or no? Annie Fry YouTube channel. Let's get Stuart Rosenblum, my friend from Stuart's American Mortgage. He's the bagel loan guy. He is also my friend. I am a customer of his, and he is a great partner of the show. And we're going to talk to him more about the economy and mortgages and what he sees on the horizon. We'll be right back.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Fry Show.
Michael Michael's Flooring Outlet, great locally owned and operated business here in St. Louis. They're waiting for you to come stop by. Say hi. Mention the Annie Fry Show when you go shopping for your hardwood flooring at Michael's Flooring Outlet. I know a lot of people are looking to finally get to those projects that maybe they lived through during the COVID years, and you're trying to say, okay, we're making these incremental improvements on our home. Maybe you're getting it ready to list, and you want to replace the flooring, the hardwood, with something that's going to last a little bit longer, take a little more life on it. Maybe you are going to rip up that old dingy carpet. I have to do that in my house. And you need somebody who's going to be honest with you and helpful to you, and also respect your hard-earned dollar to make sure you're not overpaying. Michael's Flooring Outlet will guide you through this process. He's a wonderful person and a wonderful family man, and they've got 3 locations throughout St. Louis for you to go stop by and start your shopping process in St. Charles County, in West County, also in Darien Prairie. But you can go online to igotfloored.com right now to visit Michael's Flooring Outlet. It's igotfloored.com. You can request an estimate. You can read from real people in St. Louis and the bi-state area who have bought from Michael's Flooring Outlet and their honest opinions of the experience. And you'll be sold like so many other of them were. igotfloored.com.
You know, I don't know what is going on here, but I was recently attacked servicing an air conditioner by 2 cicadas. Definitely planned. It had to be planned. One flew right into my mouth, and when I spit that horrible thing out, one came crashing into the back of my head. But I'm just telling you, cicadas don't taste good. They're gross. Something has to be done. So everybody be careful out there with the cicadas. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Be careful with the cicadas. I know there was at least one planned attack on me by 2. But again, this is about air conditioning. So if you do need service on your air conditioner this summer, what works really good, I found, for me and my customers, is if you just save this number, my name and the number in your phone. That is 314-293-2600. Or on the website, and you can see some videos, bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com.
Rhino Shield is far superior to even the best traditional exterior house paint. Rhino Shield is 8 to 10 times thicker than paint and comes with a 25-year transferable warranty. Rhino Shield is the only ceramic coating company that has been chosen by Disney, This Old House, and 3 times on HGTV's Curb Appeal, where every episode is concentrated on unpainted brick, bonds and seals to stucco, wood, hardy, block, color lock, masonite, and more. No better product for those steel aluminum-sided homes that have become, chalky and tired looking. We coat sloped and flat roofs to extend their lives too. After 15 years, we've got a great reputation and a superior product. As long as it's affordable, why wouldn't you do it? Before you make the costly mistake of painting with traditional paint, you'd be best served to call Rhino Shield today. We are the experts and our evaluations are free. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com. Tell them, ladies.
No paint, don't Rhino. Go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Did you know you can unlock the equity from your current home and stay in it while you find your next home or while your new home's being built? Mark Cox here for my friend Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. She can do that for you. Here's a problem many home sellers find themselves in. I want to sell my home, but where will I move? Plus, I need the funds from my current home to go purchase our next home. Gloria understands this. That's why she created her Sell and Stay program, which allows you to sell your home, get the cash, and stay in the home for up to 12 months. I love Gloria Liu because she thinks of every dilemma a home seller could go through and provides a guaranteed solution. If you need the cash from your current home to buy your next home, here's my recommendation. Call the only agent I trust, Gloria Liu, and ask her about her Sell and Stay program, 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
Say hello to Lumi, the whole body deodorant developed with your whole body in mind. Pits, privates, and beyond. It's outrageously effective and clinically proven to block odor all day, anywhere you have body odor and wish you didn't, and keeps controlling odor up to 72 hours. Lumi is different. Developed by an OBGYN, Lumi goes beyond masking odor to control body odor in a way certain other deodorants and soap don't. Start controlling body odor everywhere, not just armpits. Experience whole body freshness from Lumi Whole Body Deodorant today. Go to LumiDeodorant.com to be the best smelling you of all time. There's a special offer for listeners. Use code 203 and get 15% off your first purchase with code 203. Like the Lumi Starter Pack, Acidified Body Wash, or new Lumi Plus Sweat Control. That's LumeDeodorant.com, code 203 for 15% off your first purchase. Love it or return it for free. That's LumeDeodorant.com, code 203 to save 15% today. LumeDeodorant.com.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. If you're not sure who to call for air conditioning services, contact the team at Air Comfort Service. With 55 years of experience and thousands of 5-star reviews, you can trust them with the comfort of your home. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Brian Kilmeade, co-host of Fox and Friends.
People who love the law are embarrassed that this is happening. When they read this verdict, I think it's going to be almost as big as OJ.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. So the show started off today with Tulsi Gabbard, and then Ryan Wiggins was like, I need my time, because Ryan will not be shown up by one Tulsi Gabbard on the Annie Fry Show. And my money's on Tulsi, but Ryan did bring the heat in Wiggins America talking about cicadas, because you got to talk about cicadas every day, don't you? We just got done speaking with Steve Moore a little bit about inflation, but I'm excited to have Stewie in the studio with me. Of course, Stuart Rosenblum, the president of Stewart's American Mortgage, a great friend of mine and partner here on the Annie Fry Show. I am a 2-time Bagel Loan customer myself. I've used the product that I talked to you about, and I want to talk to you, Stewie, about multiple things. But the first and foremost one I want to talk to you about is mortgage rates where they are right now. I was just talking to someone else. They said people need to stop thinking about mortgage rates in the crazy, crazy lows that we had, because those were crazy. And the idea of rates being somewhere like they're not as high as they've been in most people listening's lifetime. Where they are right now, like maybe they are on the high end of average, but people are starting to get back in the market right now because this is going to be the way it's going to be for a while. What do you think about that?
Well, first, thanks for having me today.
Absolutely.
If you look at a 30-year average and you take the COVID situation out of the picture, which was artificial, this is the average. We were at 7% over the 30-year period. That's the average. If you talk to your parents or your grandparents, they paid 13%, 18%,
it's
15%.
outrageous.
So having a 7% rate, don't panic. It's not that bad.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as buying a home, this is probably the prime time right now to buy. If you're sitting on the sidelines and saying, hey, interest rates are too high, I shouldn't buy right now, it's a big mistake. Inventory is going to stay low. It's not going to get that much better. When interest rates drop, everybody's going to come out of the woodworks and say, hey, I can now afford a house, and there's going to be more competition to buy one specific house. So it's not going to be, the amount of inventory is not going to be proportional to the amount of buyers. Guess what's going to happen to those prices? They're going to skyrocket. And if you have a 3% or 2% interest rate, you're not so eager to jump ship and go to another house.
Yeah.
So the inventory is going to stay low.
Yeah.
So that's what's going to happen.
It's complicated because I myself am looking at potentially building a home soon. We've been looking at plans and we're kind of checking out the situation. And there's a lot of apprehension because, gosh, you got me a really freaking good rate.
I know, 2%, right?
Yes.
3% or whatever that is.
Yeah. And the thing of it is that I did it, the bagel loan, twice with you to get my rate down, because both times we did the math and it made a ton of sense to go through the process. I didn't have to pay to refinance both times because there aren't any closing costs with the bagel loan. So I think people are really stuck in this if you do have that really, really low rate. But that's not everybody. Everybody didn't qualify for a low rate like that. People didn't think to refinance at that time. Maybe they didn't buy at that time. So you really need to, if you've got to do it, if you've got to move and you got to buy a house, you got to do it.
Well, I'd go a step further. I'd say if you got to do it, if you want to do it, be smart. buy the house now, get the price you want to pay, the right price. Rates are going to go down between 6 and 18 months. Refinance for free with the bagel loan.
Why? Do you think they're going to go down?
I do.
Why? He's got this look in his eyes.
All right, let's look at the picture, and we're going to try not to get too political with it, but it's going to impact it a little bit. Okay.
If you change your mind, let me know.
Right.
I'll dive head first.
All right. So you have this thing called CPI, which is the inflation report, the overall inflation, and you have job strength, people going out of jobs. And the Federal Reserve is looking at both those elements.
Mm-hmm.
If people are losing jobs and the job market is worse, they don't have money in their pocket, they're not going and spending money. If they're not spending it, there's less demand for those products, and the prices ultimately will drop.
Okay.
So recent reports came out that, in effect, the jobless claims have actually risen more than expected. And guess what? People are starting to lose jobs, and the job market is not as strong as what we thought it was. So that's the first element. The second element is within CPI, which is the inflation report, is something called core inflation. So the Federal Reserve can't impact fuel costs because, that could be a war in the Middle East, or food prices, but they can impact other items, and that's called core inflation. And if you watch core inflation, it's actually dropping. It's at like 2.8%. I would anticipate at the end of this month, we're going to see 2.7%. So what the Federal Reserve is looking at is a trend. Their actual goal is to hit the 2% inflation mark, but they want to see that things are going in the right direction. Now I'm going to say something somewhat political that you may like, okay? If you remove, I know, it's kind of like I should put a disclaimer on the bottom, but if you remove government spending outside of this economy would be in somewhat shambles. So the government is really spending a fortune of money keeping the job growth and the economy going. If you take that out of the picture now, I'm more into, let companies and corporations go ahead and spar. But that's what the government is doing. So the economy is really not in the greatest shape. Ask people around. When you ask people, are you doing well right now? Are you comfortable?
Yeah.
Most people are saying, no, I'm struggling. I can't pay my bills. The costs have gone up. All of a sudden, a loaf of bread is $5 for a loaf. People are not going out and expressing that they're doing very, very well. So if the overall economy is weakening, jobless claims are rising, core inflation is dropping, I think we may get a surprise from the Fed, probably between June, July-ish time. I don't know if there's going to be, a political impact and pressure there.
Nudge.
But I think we may
Oval.
get surprised. They're saying they're not going to, but I think we're going to get a surprise cut somewhere around the July-August time, and that'll cause interest rates to go down. And if you're looking to buy a house, now all of a sudden you got 50 other people bidding on that house, and we have a solution for that too.
So that's one thing that I wanted to ask you about, because it's somebody just commented this, and I was thinking the same thing, and I should find out who it is so I can credit her for saying exactly what I was thinking. But it's not just when people are looking to buy and get in the market, or they're just apprehensively staying on the sideline. It isn't just the interest rate; it's the price of the house, which is what you're saying. Like,
it's going to get worse.
And honestly, that's the thing about the bagel loan that works the best, is you don't have to restrain yourself based on the interest rates, because if you feel like, if I get in and I lock it in now, and in 6 months, you said 6 to 18 months, things change, and you're like, gosh darn it, I went in and I got it done and I just missed it. I should have waited. That's literally what you do with the bagel loan, is you make it so it doesn't cost them to refinance.
It doesn't cost anything. So the smartest move is to buy it. So there's a new product we have. I told you I was going to surprise you with it.
Yeah.
So there's competitive offers going around. We're seeing contracts come in $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 over asking price. And we've heard a lot of buyers say to us, hey, I know I don't have the bagel loan, so I don't have to pay the closing costs. I can add that money to the bid and maybe beat out some other offers. But we have something better for you. We introduced, for the first time in history on a conventional loan, 0 down payment conventional loans.
How do you do that?
0.
Now,
Magic.
Before you go on, and people hear 0 closing costs with the bagel loan, I know this because you've literally said this to me. I've had people who work in this building.
How do you do it?
Message me and say, Annie, the bagel loan, like, how does it really work?
Okay.
And they're waiting for me to say, well, you just don't pay the closing costs here. They're there. No, you do. I literally don't do it.
There's no closing. We did something that is very simple. We rolled back to old time America, which is keep your overhead low, don't pay the commissions. We don't have any commission loan officers.
They work with you.
They work directly with me. All the loans we do is my son and myself. We have employees that process and underwrite, but all the loans we do is ourselves. If we don't have to pay the commissions, why pocket the money, take that money, and pay the closing costs for you? It's simple math. It's going down to get the bare bones for our customers and passing the savings along to them. As a result, we were top in the country in 2021, 2022. And this model is fantastic. It's a great model. But now...
So then let's get to the zero down.
Okay, so now...
This is ridiculous. Prove it.
It's a great product. By the way, I get questions like that all the time. Is how do you do the bagel loan? Where's the catch? And stuff like that. It's just simple. We have low overhead. And the bottom dollar is we don't charge commissions. You save that money. So now you can take that $5,000 you wouldn't have to pay, add it to the bid. Normally, you have to come up with 3% down if you're a first-time home buyer to buy a house. We're going to give you up to $15,000 of that 3%. We're not going to give it to you. We'll lend it to you. There's no interest on it, okay, which is great. If you have to bid somebody else out to get that offer and you only have the $15,000 to put down as a down payment, everywhere else you're going to lose out on that house.
Yeah.
Take that $15,000, add it to the $5,000 that you're saving in the bagel loan, add $20,000 to the offer, you'll get the house. Now, if you walk around and say, "Hey, I'm offering $20,000 over asking, am I ever going to see that money back?" Well, with the houses appreciating, with interest rates dropping, you're not going to lose anything. You're going to get the house that you want, and please don't lose the house that you want for $10,000 or $20,000 when you're going to be happier. I had a customer come in and say, "Hey, we didn't want to spend an extra $10,000 on a house. We lost the house." 3 months later, they're saying, "Oh my God, $10,000 on a $400,000 house." That's
on a monthly payment is like nothing.
It's almost irrelevant. Now they ended up buying something else. It was in their price range, but they call me up and say, "We're not happy. We should have bought the first house." So don't be penny wise and dollar foolish. And this will help you get the house that you want.
So I want to ask you a political question that you can answer however you want. I trust that you will handle this one very intelligently. You said 6 to 18 months that rates could go down, but we've got an election in November. Does the election directly affect these things?
I think it will. I think the Democrats are going to want to push as hard as they can, either indirectly or some fashion, to keep those rates down. I mean, if inflation is high and the numbers are higher, then that doesn't make them look any better than they are today. They have other challenges they got to deal with, but from the economic standpoint, and I think, you've got Middle East tensions, you've got but the average person in the United States, all right, as concerned as they are with those things, and they should be, they're primarily concerned with the economy.
Yeah.
And if they see inflation high and similar where they're struggling, they're going to say, "I ain't voting for this guy." So the Democrats have so many different strikes against them. If this strike also appears, it's going to just completely blow them out. So they want those interest rates to drop. And I don't know if they're putting side pressure or what it is, but typically during election periods, the economy, the interest rates usually do drop to make them look better. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think it's there are always all sorts of different things that can come in and affect a big decision like buying a house or selling your house. And, a lot of people, myself included, are like getting your Zillow email. It's like, "Your house is worth blah, blah, blah." And you're like, "Oh my gosh, I got to sell this thing yesterday." And then you're like, "I would have to take out a pretty big loan to buy a house that would be half this."
You're going to end up paying more for another one.
Yeah, so it is tricky. But it's important to consider all your options and not to freeze in the moment and not take action when maybe there's a solution out there that does make a lot of financial sense for you to get into the game. As far as the process when they reach out to you, because, I have your cell phone number directly, but so do they, because the number I give out for you every day when I talk about Stuart's American Mortgage is his direct line. It's 314-324-4440. How does that conversation start? Because I'm going to be honest, until I sat down and you explained this to me and I became a customer of yours, this would all sound like a foreign language to me.
Well, the word mortgage right off the bat makes people like jittery.
Yeah.
And it actually comes from a French word, which basically means you're dead if you don't pay it. So that's the source for that mortgage.
Yes,
that's the original. If you go back in history, where it all came about. So you call us up. It's a lot easier than it used to be, and you don't have to give your firstborn for it unless you want to. So the first thing you do, you call us, and we send you a link. You fill out the application. It takes you 30 seconds. We don't care. There's no 50 fields to fill out. It's 2 or 3 things: name, address, social security number. We'll call you back right away, get you pre-approved on the spot. It takes 2 minutes. Once you've got your pre-approval, we let you generate the pre-approval letter anytime you want. You don't have to chase us for it. Your realtor doesn't have to chase us for it. Then we ask you for 3 or 4 documents. And once you have those, you're committed. We can go ahead and give you that loan. When you're committed in the fact that we can give you the approval, and you can go shopping for the house, and it's done. We had a contract accepted today. They got their commitment letter, which is their approval on their mortgage, on the day they submitted the contract. We're closing that transaction in 10 days.
Let me ask you, Eric's question on our YouTube channel said, how long is the refi process for the bagel loan from application till approval?
The last time I timed it, it was no,
In
we
minutes?
did. We timed it. We timed one. An hour and 45 minutes, of which 45 minutes was the closing.
From refi process.
From application to closing, it took this particular customer 1 hour and 45 minutes.
314-324-4440. He can have it done by noon. That's crazy.
We may be able to.
Yeah. Let's see here. Another question was, what about people with below average credit? You got to be like a credit superstar in order to be able to do all of this stuff?
Well, the first thing is you should not self-diagnose your credit. There's over 400 different credit score models. So when you see Discover Card or Credit Karma and it says what your credit score is, that's not your mortgage credit score. There's over 400 different Equifaxes, 400 TransUnion, 400 Experian. And depending on the type of company that pulls the credit will determine what that score is going to be. So you don't know what your score is. I've had people come in, my score is 580. No, it's 700. And I had people said 700 and it's 580. So you can't self-diagnose it, number one. Number two, especially if you're a first-time home buyer, there are very forgivable credit programs that still allow you to put down 3%. You may still be eligible for the 0% down. I had somebody come in today, he thought his credit was absolutely terrible. It was in the low to mid 600s. He was eligible for that 0% down. So you don't know. The best thing to do is call. And if you don't qualify for right now, we'll at least tell you what you have to do to get qualified. And there are ways and methods that we can help you get there. So call. Don't be afraid to call. People sit by, and that's the biggest thing is fear. Is, I don't want to call and tell him my credit's bad and all this kind of stuff because he's going to look badly on it. Well, if you don't pick up the phone and make the attempt, nobody's going to know. So make the attempt.
And I'll also say personally, just knowing you, Stewie, that you work with a lot of people. You're not just looking for the 800 credit score, easy peasy. You have helped a lot of people. You have talked to me before about refinancing homes and helping people pay down credit card debt. You've talked about saving marriages because the credit card debt was just taking over the relationships, helping people be able to manage their overall financial situations through what you can do for them. So I would encourage people, if you feel like you're in an economic position that could be solved by a better situation with your mortgage loan, you talk to a lot of people who are struggling. It's not just about being the perfect economic shape. Go see Stuart.
Help is there, and don't self-diagnose. That's the key. We closed a transaction last week. It was a couple. You talk about divorce cases. They were on the hinge of getting divorced, and finances is the biggest stress most people have when they're married.
Yeah,
we saved them $1,800 a month in payments. They couldn't believe
that's life changing.
Yeah, and the challenge is, and I explained this to them. They had months of this building up, and they had tension between them building up. Had they called earlier, they would have been way ahead of the game. Now their credit went down. But we're going to refinance them again in 6 months for free with the bagel loan. So let us get you to a point that puts you in a better position. And then once you're in a better position, your credit score is going to go up. Next time around, it'll be free. You'll be in better shape.
Well, the number is 314-324-4440. You can call him or text him, 314-324-4440. And make sure you mention my name. He's going to treat everybody great, but I just think you might get extra great treatment if you mention my name when you call. Is that true? I don't know. I just made that up.
Absolutely.
But mention the Annie Fry Show and get the questions asked. You might not end up doing anything. I have a family who worked with you, and they called because the bagel loan seemed obvious, but they actually didn't. They had a lot of money saved up to buy a house, and you got them a different deal that was something different than the bagel loan, and you still made sure that they got the best situation for them. You're always prioritizing the customer and the client, which is why I'm so happy to be able to send people to you because I trust you. So we appreciate you coming in.
Thank you very much for having me.
And thank you for helping me, my family, and the people listening, because right now every penny counts now more than ever, and people still need to buy homes and refinance homes, and I recommend the bagel loan. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll get Ryan Wiggins back in here at the YouTube live chat poll. Do you support Harrison Butker? Yes or no? I'm going to tell you a little bit more about my position on that when we return. Don't go away.
This one got a princely racket. That's what I said now. Got some big seal up on his jacket. Ain't in his head now. You marry him, your father will condone you. How about that now? You marry
Stuart's American Mortgage is the home of the Bagel Loan. You know that. What am I talking about when I mention the Bagel Loan, and why all of a sudden does it maybe apply to you? Well, when you're shopping for a home and you need to shop also for a mortgage, don't forget to shop for a mortgage. That's how you're going to make sure you get the best deal possible on probably the longest and biggest loan you're going to take out. Why wouldn't you shop? Reach out to Stewie and ask him how he can help you. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. And ask about the Bagel Loan. When you learn about the Bagel Loan, the number one thing that you care about is that there are no closing costs, no fees, thousands of dollars that never leave your pocket. They stay right where they are, and you can choose what to do best with those. The Bagel Loan is only with Stewie, though, so you reach out to Stuart's American Mortgage directly by calling or texting Stewie at 314-324-4440. I am a two-time Bagel Loan customer myself, refinancing my home twice to lower my rate, and I encourage you to check that out as well. Google the Bagel Loan and MLS number 226715.
Guys, you know summer is just around the corner. Get yourself in shape now. Let my friends at Victory Men's Health help you. Mark Cox here. You know Victory is offering semaglutide, approved by the FDA for overweight adults. It's a game changer. On average, people are losing up to 15% of their body weight. Be sure and visit my friends at Victory Men's Health in Wing Haven, their newest location in Sunset Hills. They're also in Town and Country and in O'Fallon, Illinois. Go online today. Tell them you heard Mark Cox talking about it. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
What's up? I'm tired of feeling so bloated. That used to be me. Then I got this. Align Bloating Relief plus food digestion. A probiotic, right? Yeah, it works naturally with your gut to help soothe occasional bloating and gas. Plus, it has vitamin B12 to aid digestion by helping convert food to cellular energy. 2 benefits, 1 capsule.
Align Bloating Relief plus Food Digestion from the #1 doctor-recommended probiotic brand. Learn more at alignprobiotics.com.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Marvin Mitchell and the team at Compass Retirement Solutions calls this mailbox money. It's a monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you are retired. Call Marvin Mitchell and the Compass Retirement Solutions team at 314-373-1598 to start working on a plan that can help you create the monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call 314-373-1598 right now and schedule a visit with Compass Retirement Solutions. 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and Illinois.
Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/free. Ramp.com/free. RAMP.com/free.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
At Onder Law, we deliver big judgments for the little guy. Onder Law takes on the biggest industries and holds them accountable. Call today for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
The Anti-Frat YouTube live chat poll of the day. Do you support Harrison Butker? Yes or no? We'll talk about this in just a minute here. It is 1:49. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Illinois Republican State Convention is in Collinsville this Friday and Saturday. And if you want to plug in and help elect conservatives in Illinois, this is the place to be. The Annie Fry Show is broadcasting live from noon to 3 p.m. Listen in right here on 97.1 or stop by in person this Friday.
Right here? Yeah. Come on. On that sunny day, didn't know I'd meet such a beautiful girl walking
This
down the
is the
street.
Annie Fry Show.
Seen those bright brown eyes with tears coming down. She deserves a crown. But where is it now? Mama, listen. Senorita, I feel for you. You deal with things that you don't.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. I was just telling Brad a little bit earlier about like the different kinds. It's not anxiety or stress. It's just maybe pressure is the right word when we have different types of people on the show. And when you have a guest like Tulsi Gabbard booked, she's doing a book tour. So she is much more available right now due to her book tour than normal. Like there are guests that we have on the air that Brad will work on and work on and work on. And we finally land them for whatever particular reason.
Well, I've been working on trying to get her, and then this came in.
Yeah, if you're trying to get a big guest on and then a book comes out, you're like, get with the publisher. Because that's how you get guests on. And it is always, for me, the extra pressure is always, like, if I make a really good first impression with this guest, then the next time we ask, they might be more inclined to come back. And Brad has said that is the case, that he can work and work and work on a guest, and then we finally get him on, and then rebooking them in a couple months or 6 weeks or whatever becomes a little more easy. So I wanted to make sure that when I had her on, because we've known that this has been booked for a while. I think Mark Reardon's had her on already. I don't know if Mark Cox has booked her yet.
I don't know about that.
But she's doing she's got something that she's gonna get out of it, which is exposure for her book. But she might be the next vice president of the United States, too. So it's an interesting conversation to have. So I read the book via Audible, audiobook. And so I put a lot. I don't want to say that I don't put work into my interviews, but I don't have to read a whole book for most of my interviews.
Yeah.
And we've known that this was the case for about a month.
Yeah, roughly. I've been working on it for about a month. I know that it was like midnight and I had my phone in my hand and the email popped in and I immediately responded to it. So from that point until now.
And so we knew we wanted to do video with her, which is something a little extra that not most people in radio. We do more video stuff than most people in radio as a station as a whole, but we try to on the show be leaders on that. So, being able to have her on and have that conversation, the pressure level is higher than a conversation where, like with Steve Moore, I can have Steve Moore on and I can, like, what is today's economic news? And I can hit that with him and he knows exactly what he's doing. He's familiar with me. He comes on weekly, which is wonderful because he's like one of the top advisors to Donald Trump, economically speaking. And he's oftentimes, if he cancels on us on a Monday, we look up and at 1:30, he's doing a Fox hit. So that's just the nature of the game. We know where we rank and we're really happy that we're in the game. But depending on what kind of guests we have on, there's different levels of pressure. And I just can't stress enough how after we get done with the guests, I just feel like it's time to turn it over to Ryan Wiggins.
That's why you always book them at 12:25, because then Wiggins America, I just take it. I just take the reins and I run with it.
No matter how good or bad it went, it's like a palate cleanse.
Yeah. Wiggins America is definitely not going to be whatever the segment before it was. Are you hoping that, Brad, that next time you contact her people, that they go, yeah, she said that Annie made a really good first impression. We want to come back, be a weekly guest.
No, we have specifically very few weekly guests on purpose, which has been like a day one thing for me. But
Yeah,
you know.
I definitely hope that the next time I reach out, they're like, oh, yeah, remember? Yeah, let's do it. That's what I'm hoping for.
I'll try to cycle good high-profile guests every 3 to 6 weeks, 4 to 8 weeks. You know, if we have Tulsi Gabbard on the show every 2 months, that would be amazing. And I have no idea that she's ever going to want to come back on the show. I don't think we bombed, but
I thought it was good. It's so funny. I think we had this conversation off air within the last week or two that whenever you're trying to book a meeting, whether it be for the show or just a meeting in life, and I've had people do this to me, that when somebody goes, hey, can I schedule a meeting with you in like late July? You go, oh yeah, late July, that's fine. But then you get there and you go, oh man, I scheduled a meeting for today. And then you have to actually do it.
Yeah.
And plans are the same. Like, you want to go to this concert in September? Oh, sure, I love that band. And then the time rolls around and you go, why do I agree to go to a concert on a Wednesday night?
yeah. You have to prepare for these things. It's part of the job. I love it. I'm excited for it. And it's a challenge to be able to go out and get these high-profile guests and hopefully it's important to not be like kissing butt when you have a guest on. Like I did not have Tulsi Gabbard on my show to flatter her. I did read her book, which should be flattering enough that I read her book, but I want to ask her questions that she has caused me to have in my own brain. And you know, if we had her on again, we're not going to have another conversation fully about her book, but we can talk about the news of the day. But I mean, this is all just a little behind the scenes as to the flow of the show. You know, I'm thinking about our Friday show at the golf tournament. I mean, it's just an entirely different type of show. This on a regular basis, I think, and I would really, really be interested in your feedback on this. If you come onto the Annie Fry YouTube channel, give us your feedback, leave your comments, be very honest and open about how you feel about it. But I think that oftentimes talk radio, and especially conservative talk radio, because I don't know any liberal talk radio that isn't publicly funded that succeeds. I'll just put it that way. But I don't want you to always get in your car at the same time on the same day and hear the same conversation. I feel like that's the traditional norm. And I kind of want to break that apart, get it all off the table and go, today's Monday. This is the news. Who would be great to talk about? And you guys, Brad, certainly because he's doing the work, but Ryan, you know this too. We generally don't know who's on the show until about 11:15 that day.
Mm-hmm.
And we've had to convince people that that's an okay way of doing it.
That's the nature of news, though.
Yeah.
It's always that way.
We want to be fresh. Don't want to be talking about a specific issue because it's Tuesday at 2. All right, let's take a quick break. 2 o'clock coming up.
If you have a problem with the IRS, believe me, it's not going away on its own. The IRS never gives up. They have endless resources, so they control the game. Well, your tax problems can end. I'm attorney Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm, a local tax resolution firm with an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau. I've handled thousands of IRS cases over the last 15 years. So when you hire me, you won't be speaking long distance or sending money to some TV pitchman that's riddled with consumer complaints. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it will cost. So call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com. If you have IRS issues, you need a local attorney, you need me, Lance Drury.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
It's hot. It says record high on the screen right in front of me. Record high is temperature. I'll make the joke not in the ad later. Sorry, Corey Malone and Air Comfort Service. Record high temperatures in May.
Super high.
Super high. Make sure that you don't get caught with a furnace or an air conditioner that's not working. Who's high? With an air conditioner that's not working for you. And this is another key time where you need to check on your loved ones to make sure that their air conditioning service is provided for them, that they are staying cool and in their comfort zone in this heat. It kind of creeps in and all of a sudden, boom, it's a St. Louis summer and it's hot outside. You look at you haven't turned on the air conditioner in the house and it's 78 degrees in the house and it's just getting warmer and warmer. If you need help with your heating air conditioning unit, your HVAC system, 314-513-0091. 314-513-0091. I'm trying so hard not to laugh at the record high joke. Aircomfortservice.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon for the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. I depend on them for eye care, and they have an announcement. They're pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to their practice. Dr. Berry is a cornea surgeon, and he has the latest knowledge and techniques for advanced eye care and treatment in the field. So what do we call them now? The doctors? No, just the best doctors to see for your best vision. In St. Louis, you can reach them at 314-966-5000. They've treated more than 250 doctors, more than any others in the practice. Now, if you need help with dry eye, LASIK surgery, maybe you have glaucoma, macular degeneration. I had an eye disease when I was just 25 years old, so my eyes are very important to me. You get the absolute best care with the Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates. Doctors Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Bersati, Andy Royer, and now Dr. Samuel Berry. 314-966-5000 or visit youridoc.com. They have a great location just off Manchester Road, a half mile west of 270. Ophthalmology Associates.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio.
That's GetJim.com.
97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The U.S. and Israel on the same page. Elisa Brady, Fox News. Both are condemning a decision at the International Criminal Court to seek arrest warrants for top Hamas and Israeli officials, including Prime Minister Netanyahu.
There should be no equivalence rendered at all. None. It's ridiculous to render equivalent Israel and Hamas after what Hamas did on the 7th of October.
National Security.
They need to be held accountable.
National Security Communications Advisor John Kirby also says the U.S. does not believe the ICC has any jurisdiction in Gaza. Water systems across the U.S. are being urged to take immediate steps to protect drinking water. The Environmental Protection Agency warning that cyber attacks against water utilities are becoming more frequent and more severe. The EPA says about 70% of utilities inspected by federal officials in the last year violated standards meant to prevent cyber threats. Former attorney Michael Cohen admits stealing from the Trump Organization during a fourth day of testimony at the former president's trial in New York.
It was cross-examination by Trump's lawyer Todd Blanche that brought all this out. And again, he elicited more admissions that challenges Cohen's credibility.
Fox's Eric Shawn outside the courthouse where attorneys have been arguing about the potential recall of a prosecution witness. A U.S. diplomat testifies at the corruption trial of New Jersey Senator Bob Menendez.
One of the accusations facing Senator Menendez is that he pressured an agricultural official so that his friend Wael Hana would become the sole certifier of halal meat imported to Egypt. James Brett Tate was a diplomat stationed in Cairo until 2019. He testified he didn't think it was a good idea for Egypt to drop every single other certifier except for Wael Hana's company, which he said was inexperienced and new, but that in the end, it was Egypt's decision.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal, Hana, and another businessman are on trial with Menendez. America is listening to Fox News.
Are you a victim of the timeshare trap and think there's no way out? I'm Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group, the original timeshare cancellation expert. And I'm here to tell you that there is a way out. All you need to do is give my office a call. I will send you a timeshare exit information kit absolutely free, explaining how the timeshare industry works and your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free info kit. Call 800-822-1716. 800-822-1716.
When you use Bounce dryer sheets and your clothes look amazing, it's the sheet. Less static in your life? Yeah, it's the sheet. Smelling fresher than ever? It's the sheet. Oh, so soft fabric? Ooh la la. It's the sheet. Less wrinkles on your clothes? You know it's the sheet. Bounce dryer sheets. More freshness, more softness. Less static, less wrinkles. It's the sheet.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
89 for the high. There's just a tiny chance of a pop-up thunderstorm tonight. Partly cloudy skies, 72 on Tuesday. Partly to mostly sunny skies. It's hot and windy. 92 on Tuesday. 93 the record from 1941. So we're going to be flirting with that number. Tuesday night, developing showers and thunderstorms. Some could be strong. That continues into Wednesday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Don't deal with bad contractors. If you have rental properties, investment properties, and you do any sort of rehab, you've been burned before. Rapid Rental Renovations does everything for you, so you don't have to piecemeal it together and hope that you're getting people that you can trust. I'm sure you have some people that you do trust, but how about somebody you can trust with everything? That's what Rapid Rental Renovations can do for you. Sean and Kristen, I've talked to them multiple times, and they are super reliable. They are on the east side of the river, but they do the whole Missouri area too, so no matter where you're listening to this, they can come to you with painting, flooring, light fixtures, bathroom updates, lock changes, blinds. So the little stuff, big stuff, up to roofs, they do it all. They also can clean out your property no matter what. If it's vacant, they can do it. Give them a call by visiting their website. You can see everything right there. They have a couple phone numbers. One you can text pictures to. The other one you can call and talk to them. It's all at murphycleanoutservices.com. You'll see everything right there, murphycleanoutservices.com.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group. Are you worried about market volatility in this election year? Are you concerned your money won't last you through retirement?
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw, and as a family-owned business, we are committed to protecting your retirement, whether you're nearing retirement or already retired. We have a lot of folks that aren't aware of all the new investment choices that are available, which give you growth and protection from losses at the same time. Are you aware of all the fees that you are currently paying? We can show you how to avoid those fees. So come in now for your free retirement review and get a second opinion on your retirement plan. And just for coming in, you'll get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. Let us show you how to retire with confidence.
We are proud to say we haven't lost a penny of our clients' money in 38 years, and we won't lose a penny of yours either. Let our family help your family. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Just imagine being walked all over for 36 years. Who would do that? The great customers of Reinhold Flooring, that's who. For over 3.5 decades, Reinhold Flooring has been the mecca for carpet, hardwood, vinyl, laminate, and area rugs. Reinhold Flooring is customer-driven with a focus on top-quality products and installations from the best team in the business. So come on in and walk all over your next flooring at Reinhold Flooring. Visit them at 5429 Telegraph Road in St. Louis or online at reinholdflooring.com.
Shop with the experts. Get a 5-carat certified colorless tennis bracelet for $1,650 set in 14-karat gold. Plus, get 10% off when you use code RADIO10 at cleanorigin.com or one of our 6 locations. Again, code RADIO10 at cleanorigin.com.
97.1 FM Talk. You're here. Not because of a label, but because conservative ideas actually work. St. Louis is home for conservative talk. This is 97.1 FM Talk. The Annie Fry Show YouTube live chat poll of the day is sponsored by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. Busy show today. We started it off in the noon hour with Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard on the show with us. She joined us via video as well on the Annie Fry YouTube channel. If you'd like to check that out, go watch that interview between Tulsi and myself. Very honored to have her on the show to talk about her book. And we talked to Steve Moore and Stewie in the 1 o'clock hour. And now it's time to talk a little bit more about the Annie Fry YouTube live chat poll. So if you go check out the video conversation we had with Tulsi, or you are just checking to vote in the poll, make sure you subscribe to the Annie Fry YouTube channel while you're there. The poll is, do you support Harrison Butker? Now, we have had a lot of conversation about Harrison Butker over the last, I guess, 2 days that we had the show going. And I think it seems to have kind of taken on a life of itself, the Harrison Butker stuff. It's hard to know what he actually said and what people have repeatedly, like the old telephone game, tried to twist his words into saying like women belong in the kitchen and so on and so forth. What was the one that was manipulated that women should have more babies than thoughts? Have you seen that one?
Oh,
I
no,
have
haven't
not
seen
seen
that.
one.
I think I saw that one. I hope I didn't make that up myself.
Man.
That's incredible.
Well, I've only ever had 3 thoughts in my life, so. That's why
You should keep having babies so you can keep up in the thoughts.
Yeah, tell my husband that. He'd be okay with it. If that's the craziest thing. My husband, every once in a while, I'll be like, if we got pregnant again, would you be happy about that? Would that be exciting? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, really? You can clearly tell who has to physically. I'm like, I can't physically do it anymore. I mean, we're not we have said that adoption seems like something that we want to consider in the future. We've got our 4 kids. I have my hands full. And to think about having another kid right now, this is the time that it happens because my daughter is going to be 3 in June and my kids are 14, 11, 8, and 2. They get out of that baby phase and you're like, oh, so
clock's
sad.
ticking.
Oh, shut up.
No, I mean like you're in the zone now. You're in the zone.
Huh?
No, you get what I'm saying. I'm just agreeing with you.
I clearly do not get
I'm
what you're
agreeing
saying.
with you. So
what about my clock is ticking,
saying,
Ryan Wiggins?
Okay.
Go on.
Okay, now that you phrase it that way.
Don Lemon.
You're right.
Speak.
You're right.
Tell me about my prime.
So, okay.
Harrison
it was a few
Butker?
Yeah, let's hear it, Harrison Butker.
No. I'm taking Harrison Butker's side and saying that you guys are putting words in his mouth. I'm saying, and you guys are putting words in my mouth right now.
You literally said my clock was ticking.
Yeah, I did. That meant that you're right at the three-year mark. So it's time. The clock is ready. You're ready to go. Because you just outlined it's about every 3 years. That's exactly what I meant by that. Clock's ticking, Brad. How would you take that?
Yeah, tell Brad.
I'm a little offended, too. Not on behalf of Annie, but on behalf of myself. What's wrong with my clock?
Look, I will usually...
Robert De Niro is 703 and having children, so I think you boys are fine.
I'm fine.
I will usually say, you know what, you've misinterpreted that. And this is one of those cases, but the misinterpretation was probably more likely than the actual interpretation. So I understand.
Clock's ticking. Yeah, get on that thing there. Mr. Fry's sitting home going, okay.
Yeah, he's fine with it.
I don't even remember why we were talking about this. Why were we talking about this?
Number of thoughts.
Children. Having children and having more thoughts than
children having children.
Yeah, that's my problem. I was 25 when I had Charlie. That seems young. How old were you guys when you had your kids?
I think we were just over 30.
That seems responsible.
It seems, I mean, as far as I know it, just compared to my friend group, we started a little late.
Yeah.
But yes, responsible.
We were married at 23, and our firstborn wasn't particularly planned. And I just think back to when I see 25-year-olds out there, I'm like, gosh, you should not be having kids.
I know.
And I'm like, what? And I was born older. I was always an old soul, always goal-oriented. It's kind of a shock to a lot of people, and knew what I wanted. And my husband was, we were perfectly matched for the journey that we were on. And then I just think back to being 25 and being new parents and just going, wow.
I know. I see people get married now. I'm like, you're not old enough to get married. Oh, wait, you're 28.
You're older than I was when I got married. Yeah.
I hear parents talking about, how did my mom and dad do it? It's like they just knew everything. And they're like, I'm lost. I don't know what I'm doing.
It was before the internet. We just pretended like we knew everything and no one could fact check you.
I got through a lot of college that way.
I think that was it. They just felt like you feel, and you just didn't know it because you were a kid.
We wanted to have kids. Like, we knew we wanted to have multiple kids. He's one of 4, but he is a twin. So there were 3 installments.
Clock was ticking.
Now you got my mother-in-law coming after you.
Oh, no.
And my money's on her. 3 installments there, but 4 kids. I'm one of 3. I'm the middle. Does that come as a surprise to anybody? So for us, we were thinking, you want to have a bigger family. I thought 2 wasn't enough. 3 seems okay. 4 sounded great, but I didn't think that I was going to want to have 4 pregnancies. But we thought to ourselves, let's have kids early, because it seemed as though in our mind, we wanted to be younger retirees, we wanted to be kind of free, so to speak, younger, not like empty nesters for the first time in our late 60s or in our 70s, which is the case if you have kids later. It's neither here nor there, but we just knew that that's what we wanted to do. So I guess Molly is pretty much 3. So if she is graduated in 15 years, I'd be 55. And that's my 4th kid, because I had him so young and irresponsible. 25 and married for several years. Harrison Butker's speech, which I reiterate, go back and listen to what I said last week on this, but like overemphasizing that he is a Catholic giving a speech at a Catholic school, at a Catholic graduation. He's a Catholic talking to Catholics. That is different in that context than it is anywhere else. Although I don't think that because Harrison Butker is Catholic and speaking to non-Catholics that he should change his thoughts. And you might go in a little hard on, how I would deliver a politically minded thought of mine here on this show. If I went over and was on KMOX, and I've done that, I've been on with Chris and Amy, and we talk about politics. I don't necessarily go as hard, but I still have the same opinions. When I was first starting out in radio, I started out as a producer for Frank Cuspano's show on 590. And I was an intern, an unpaid intern, still going to school, had to do the internship thing last to graduate. And I wanted to initially be in television, and I wanted to be a sports reporter. I wanted to be the sideline girl. I wanted to be the person who was, talking to the athletes and the coaches, and because I love sports and I love broadcasting, and that's where I wanted to take it. And I was supposed to have a TV internship that for whatever particular reasons turned into a radio internship. And so I was working in sports talk radio, and I spent about 3 years working in sports talk radio. And it was maybe 2 years into that, I realized that my dream of being a sideline reporter in the NFL, or, the reporter that's on the field in a playoff baseball game, to be able to cover those instances, I'm ashamed to say that it took me until years of working in sports talk radio to realize that all of those big moments that I wanted to be a part of, college football on Saturdays, all these big games that I wanted to be a part of, were all going to be on nights and weekends. When people weren't working, they were home enjoying the sports that I would be covering. And I have this very vivid memory of it stopping me in my tracks and going, oh my gosh, I am going to have to choose. This was before I was married, so definitely before I had kids. I'm going to have to choose this dream that I have and the idea of having a normal functioning family that includes children, that I will have to miss out on opportunities to raise them. Because if I was going to do it, I would want to do it as big as I could. I would want to do it nationally. What I'm doing here, I would like to do this as big as I can. So the idea that I would be, traveling with a baseball team or showing up for Thursday night football or whatever it is I would be able to get into, the kids that I had not had yet and the marriage that I was not in yet would be dramatically affected by my absence on nights and weekends when they are not at work or at school. I had to actually mourn the loss of a dream of something that I really wanted to do because I wanted to be a mom and a wife more. That's just a fact of life. That's just a decision that I had to make. And like I said, to be honest, I was probably 21 to 22 years old before it occurred to me that in my near future, I was going to have to make a choice to prioritize this dream that I had of being a sports broadcaster to the fullest extent that I wanted to be a sports broadcaster, I was going to have to choose that life or a life where I was home within reason with the kids that I wanted to raise and didn't want to hand over to anyone else to raise them in my absence. And that was when I decided to shift out of sports and into news talk. And there is no guarantee that in radio that I was going to have a noon to 3 slot on the air. I didn't even know that I would be on the air. I was a support person. I was the digital brand manager for the station when I first got hired on a 97.1, and I did that for 9 years. And I had a 9 to 4 job, and I was able to live my life parallel to my husband, who is a teacher, and be home with my kids on the nights and be home with my kids on the weekends and be at their sporting events, mostly because I was coaching or help coaching all of their sporting events. And I am ever present in the lives of my children because I made that decision. Anybody who is listening to what Harrison Butker said, he was talking to the women in that student body sitting there graduating, reminding them not to forget about their hopes and dreams of being mothers and wives, because you are going to be confronted with the understanding that you don't get to have it all, in the sense that society tells women you can have it all. You don't get to do it on other people's standards. You will have to compromise something along the way. And you need to understand that the greatest role that women play who become mothers and wives and employees, the greatest role that you will play will not be the role of employee. That doesn't diminish the success that said employee who is a mother and a wife plays. I am those 3 things. But I will bet the farm that if you've listened to this show for any amount of time, that if my role as an employee, as a mother, or as a wife, if one of those has to go, you will never hear me on this radio again. Of course you wouldn't. That's the easiest question in the history of time. And what Harrison Butker was saying to those women in that commencement speech is, if you are pulled in a direction where your desire and your will is to make the home around your family, I understand that you're getting a piece of paper here that verifies and legitimizes the hard work, what you've earned in your time to earn this degree. I understand that this is all something that you've worked hard to accomplish, but please don't ever feel like that piece of paper should trump your desires to make a home. If your desire to be a homemaker, in your head and your heart, you know that to be greater than the piece of paper that you have rightfully earned today, don't drown that out. Listen to it. Embrace it. Do you know how many people I've heard in the last week talk about quietly or post publicly how much pressure there was after they had earned a college degree to make the full commitment to be with their families and to make the home that it is? There is so much pressure for women. Shocker. Yet again, there is so much pressure for women to do it all and to have it all, and to suggest that if you have spent the time to go to college and you're not using that degree because you're raising your family, that you have somehow failed or sacrificed something that should be on par. I mean, that's not even close. And every woman who has made that choice, I mean, like, eye roll after eye roll after eye roll for the women who have been able to figure out this is not an easy thing, folks. These are not just trophy wives who are sitting home swimming in Scrooge McDuck doubloons that have been earned by their very wealthy husbands. These are women who know exactly how to make every paycheck last the amount of time that it needs to last so that they can be ever present in the lives of their children because they've chosen it. Because they choose it. They know they want it. They know their kids, for whatever particular reason, need it. And the women are making that sacrifice, and men aren't traditionally asked to make that sacrifice. And all Harrison Butker was saying was, if that's your calling, listen to it. Don't listen to all the other noise. And boy, did he turn the volume up on the noise that is out there for the people who are like, gasp. How dare you tell a woman that she should stay at home and raise her children if that's what she wants to do? She should be in corporate America. Yeah, I'm sure that the people collecting the taxes off of all of those paychecks that would then be made in the benefit of the greater good, all of that money that comes out of all of that earning would be much more valuable to the masses and the asses that are out there trying to make sure that women constantly feel pressure every time there is a decision to be made to make everyone else happy. But the moms who stay home, the women who choose to stay home because they know in their heart that after the thousands of dollars that they spent, all the hard work they earned through scholarships to help get them to the point where that degree is earned and that diploma is held, that at the end, if their role is to be a wife and mother, you want to know what feminism looks like? It's the women who choose that in the face of all of the haters that are out there looking down on them as if they're even in a position to do it, to make those women feel small for doing what they know in their heart to be right. Harrison Butker just said, if that's your calling, drown the rest out and run to it, embrace it. Your whole family will thank you for it, and there's no replacement for it. If that's your calling, answer it. That is a radical feminist thing to say, and Harrison Butker had the cojones to go out there and say it in the midst of backlash that he knew he would get. I don't know if he thought it would be this big. He didn't tell women where they belong, but he did tell women that they do belong. And that flies in the face of postmodern feminism, which makes sure that women are always where they're supposed to be in order to find some sort of greater good that benefits the system, not the families. I'm for anything that benefits the families. I support Harrison Butker. Let us know if you do. You can go to the Annie Fry YouTube channel. Ryan, you don't have to say all that, but do you feel anything that he did or said, you disagree with any of
I
it?
was thinking about it this weekend, and the way that I would sum the whole thing up is, you know how people say, what matters to people on their deathbed? What do you ask them? It's the same stuff.
It's so obvious.
It's family. It's, oh, I wish I would have spent more time with my kids. Oh, I wish I would have spent more time with my wife or my husband. Mm-hmm. That's the stuff.
I wish I would have had a bigger career.
Nobody
and
says that.
And spent less time with my children.
And that's the point of the question, is that nobody ever says that. The Harrison Butker speech to me was kind of a summation of, hey, you'll be there someday. I'm telling you right now, as you're getting ready to enter these things, that's a priority that you should consider. To me, that's the gist of the whole speech.
There's no pressure out there on women right now that is saying what these libs are saying. Like,
right.
You need to be at home in the kitchen.
Yeah,
nobody's saying that.
Whenever that voice does happen, people try to hammer it back into the ground as fast and swiftly as possible.
Well, it doesn't even have to be that voice. It could be something general area.
It's not
of
even
it.
that. Yeah, he didn't even say that. That's what's amazing.
There is a strong voice out there telling women that they are lesser than if they choose to stay home. And what Harrison Butker said, there is nothing that you could be more. And you'll know this when you become a working mom and a working wife. That's still the shining star of your existence. It's why you breathe. You work so you can pay bills. The rest of it, it's why you breathe. And it's super obvious. And I love how he has drawn the psychos out.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, you, noted.
But what's also equally awesome is how he's drawn out the ones that are like, no, what he said's fine.
Yeah.
I can't think of her name. She's the wife of the president of the Kansas City Chiefs, and she released a nice long statement supporting him, saying, I always encourage my daughters about the values of being a wife or being a mother and that they should pursue that.
Let us know what you think. Annie Fry YouTube channel, go vote. Do you support Harrison Butker, yes or no? We'll get to some of your comments at about 2:50, and then we'll give you the results of how y'all felt about Harrison Butker, if you support him or not. When we come back, Ryan has informed us that there's been a develop in his restrictions on Katie, his wife, my best friend, and DoorDash.
It amazingly happened parallel and equal to the exact moment we were talking about it on Friday on the air.
So we'll visit that. He said he needs to talk about this publicly, and we'll give him the floor when we come back. Don't go away.
I can dance, I can sing,
The Annie Fry Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Blue jeans sit on the beach. Her dog's talking to me, but she's out of reach.
Have you been to STS Armory yet? I hope so. You find them in Pontoon Beach, Illinois. I appreciate STS Armory for being a go-to because you need people you can trust in the Second Amendment world. You need people who, when you walk in and you got a question, and it might be the dumbest question ever, you might have thought about it over and over and over again, and you can't come up with a solution to it or an answer to it. Katie and Jesse at STS Armory can help you navigate firearm ownership, FOID cards, conceal and carry licensure, making sure that you are up to speed on all of that, all the restrictions and rules that Illinois has. But they can also help you with the purchases that you want to make. I trust STS Armory. They are good people, and that matters. You're going to feel like family when you come in and you get to know Katie and Jesse and the rest of the staff there. It's a family business, and it absolutely shows in the best possible ways. If you're looking for classes, if you are looking for a purchase, if you're looking for safety, security type of devices, they got all of it. All the accessories you need for firearm ownership as well. You can find them at STS Armory. Call them with your direct questions at 618-931-GUNS, 618-931-GUNS, or online at sts-armory.com.
Did you know you can stream Fox News Radio on the free Odyssey app? Just download the free Odyssey app and search for Fox News Radio to hear the voices you trust. Brian Kilmeade.
Why are we so scared of Iran thinking that we're at war with them?
Guy Benson.
Get the bleep out of here. It's disgusting.
Jimmy Fallon.
Then this administration rolled into town with a checkbook.
Are all on the free Odyssey app. From the news and talk to keep you informed and up to date during election season. Listen to Fox News Radio on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
All right, summer's just right around the corner, so it's still not too late at all to be proactive on your air conditioning system. One, to make sure it's ready to go, and two, if you were thinking about replacing your system last year or the year before, still good time, good pricing, 0% on the equipment without the price increase yet. That's coming here, taking an effect. So if you're like to be proactive, call me. One easy number, Missouri and Illinois. That number is 314-293-2600. Again, very easy, Missouri and Illinois, 314-293-2600. Or the website, bartinman.com. Now that is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
If you're thinking of selling your home, I'm sure there are two things you want: certainty and the most money, right? Hi, it's Mark Cox, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know the only agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first and only call when looking for an agent. Gloria doesn't make empty promises. No, she provides written guarantees. Now, what does this mean for you? Certainty. Now, certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed-upon price, or she'll buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis real estate expert Gloria Liu at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
One of my favorite things to do every single summer is to go to the Muni with my mom. It is just the best time. What a fun evening out. And guess what? Single performance tickets for the Muni's 106th season, they're on sale now. The lineup that they have for you is so massive. Wait until you see the Broadway hits. There are some Muni premieres this summer. Buy tickets for individual shows, or, hey, see all 7 for as little as $126. Learn more at muni.org or visit the Muni box office in Forest Park.
You're listening to the Annie Fry Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Get in your comfort zone with double Carrier Cool Cash rebates up to $4,200 and 0% financing up to 72 months on a new HVAC system. For details and a free estimate, visit aircomfortservice.com.
If you use a smart speaker, you can listen to 97.1 easier than ever. Just tell it to play 97.1 FM Talk. Or download the Odyssey app for your phone and stream the station whenever, wherever.
VIP. Let's kick it. Ice, ice, baby. Ice, ice, baby. All right, stop, collaborate and listen. Ice is back with my brand new invention. Something grabs a hold of me tightly, flow like a harpoon daily and nightly. Will it ever stop?
This is the Annie Fry Show.
And I'll glow to the extreme. I rock a mic like a vandal, light up a stage and wax a chump like a candle. Dance.
All right, welcome back. Are you in trouble at home?
Oh, no. No. I'm not in trouble at all.
Am I?
No, you're fine.
Okay, good.
You're fine.
Our friendship is intact.
Yeah, you and my wife
Set
are
the
still
stage.
good friends. So on Friday,
Best friends.
we were talking. I don't remember exactly what made the topic come up, but we were talking about DoorDash.
I said the question was, it was an Ask Us Anything question, and the question was, what is something you just can't bring yourself to spend the money on? And I think Brad said a boat. You guys were thinking big things.
Yeah,
and I
that's
was
right.
I was like, for me, it's not a big thing. For me, it's actually a small thing. The convenience of having something shipped to my door for my third-born child is too much. I'd rather just go pick up the food. And so I said I can't spend the money on DoorDash.
That's right.
And then you said about your household.
Then I said, well, my wife, I never do either because whenever I see, and I've even gone through the process, used the coupon codes, got to the end and gone, man, I just can't pull the trigger on this. And it would be a lot more convenient at times, but I can't do it. And so anytime I'm out of town, my wife uses that as an opportunity to say, well.
You said that you allow her.
I can't say even that we had the conversation openly. It's just after the fact, I'll look at the credit card bill and go, what the heck is that? And she'll go, oh, well, you were out of town.
That's a little bit different than you presented on Friday. You said that you have a deal with her that you allow her to DoorDash when you're out of town.
And then since then, I've been like, well, I can't really argue with it.
It's funny how often she keeps sending you out of town.
Yeah, it's amazing. Or to get food, one of the two. But have you ever had a conversation where you're in your head, you're going, oh, I need to text Jared about such and such. And then he texts you that exact thing at that moment?
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like we're
sync.
we're so in sync. We're yoked together. We're in spirit and mind.
Not you
there
and
it
me.
is. No.
And not you and Jared.
No, me and Jared are friends. You and my wife are friends.
Best friends.
But me and my wife are a pair. And we're quite the pair. And so that happened on Friday. When we were talking about DoorDash, I think it was down to the minute that conversation was happening. Now, she's in school still on Friday, so she was not listening to the show. At that time.
It's the end of the year. Teachers are mailing it in like crazy.
She is just all the way in. She's at finals. She's an English teacher, so she's grading all this stuff. And she's like, oh my gosh, I forgot my lunch. And they're working through their lunch periods. So it's like, it's 2:20 or whatever. It was when we're talking about this. She goes.
1:20.
Okay.
Ask us anything.
Okay, so it would have been after lunch. That makes sense. Late lunch. She said, man, I ordered DoorDash. And I said, what time? She said that, I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
We were talking about DoorDash. You weren't listening, were you? No, I wasn't. So she said, I ordered DoorDash. And she's like, you're going to love this story, Ryan. And I'm like, I already don't like it because you weren't. I wasn't out of town.
Because I am not out of town, and I did not give you permission or an allowance to do such a thing.
She said, "Well, but I, it's the end of the year. I thought it'd be okay if I splurged a little bit because I had forgotten to bring my lunch, and I was so hungry, and there was no way to get out. And I'm like, all right.
I'm a grown woman.
But she prefaced it with, Ryan, you're gonna love this story. So I'm like, okay, so there's something good coming here. So. She says, I ordered a salad or a sandwich from somewhere within five minutes of her school. The DoorDash person arrives at the school, in the parking lot, texts her through the app, I've got your food.
Yeah.
If you don't tip me $10, I'm throwing it away.
It's a hostage situation.
I'm like, what? I said, what'd you do? And she said, and you know Katie, she is not like this. She said, I was boiling.
No.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, okay, so what comes next? She goes, I told that person, absolutely not. You can throw it away.
Oh,
I'm
really?
not tipping you $10 for a $12 meal. She had already tipped this person $5. So we're talking almost a 50%.
From like around the corner.
Yeah, it's not far. It's almost a 50% tip that she had already put on there. So it's not like she was stiffing them. But even if she was, it's wrong to do. So this person wanted double that, almost 100% tip as much as the meal was. And so she's like, guess what I did? I called DoorDash.
Good
and
for her.
I'm like, okay, all right. What'd they say? They give you a refund. She goes, well, they were understanding of the situation. They must get calls like this sometimes. And she said they asked, had the person arrived, did the person have the food?
I mean, she would have documented evidence that this was said.
Exactly.
So it's not like she's making this up to try to get a free meal.
And I'm sure DoorDash can see every single thing if they get into the app and see, you know. Mm-hmm. So she gives them the case number. I'm sure they're looking at it. And they go, I'm so sorry, but once the person has picked up the food, then we can't reimburse anything because the food's gone. And she goes, so they found a loophole to extortion.
Yeah.
And they've had to admit, you know, basically, yeah, there's nothing we can do. And I'm like, well, what'd you do then? How'd this story? You prefaced that I would like this story. Right now, I don't like this story.
Yeah. She beat him up in the parking lot. I'll meet you out on the parking lot by the...
She was hot. Yeah. I mean, at that moment, I was talking to her after the fact, but I could still see it in her eyes.
Yeah, I would be too.
Yeah, and I think she was thinking like, what would Annie do in this situation?
Call the police.
I know what Brad would do.
I got friends at the police department. Just go scare the out of him.
Yeah, we know who you are.
Scare the tip out of him.
So she says, all right then, if you can't give me a reimbursement, then tell me who can. And they go, well, we nobody can. I said, then she said, then let me go up to your manager. And they're like, okay. So they kick it up. That person can't do anything. They kick it up to the next level. She's like,
so this is like corporate
DoorDash.
Oh, yeah. She's not talking to the guy in the parking
lot.
lot.
No, not anymore. She's calling the organization.
The ransom holder.
Yeah. No, she's talking to DoorDash. And then so she gets up like 3 levels. And they go, look, everybody's telling you the same thing. We're telling you the truth. We can't do anything about it. And she goes, you're going to give me my money back or it's going to get ugly or something like that, you know? And I'm like, oh man, this is so unlike you. So they finally said, all right, ma'am, we'll do it. So they gave her money back and they guaranteed her that this person would be dealt with in harsh measures. And I was so...
Violence?
I don't know what that meant.
I mean, that person should never be able... That person, he or she should be fired on the spot.
And what I've been told since then from other people who've had, if not that situation, similar things, they said DoorDash does take those situations very seriously.
They have to.
And that person will probably never drive again for them, which amazes me that they are willing to do that unless they're able to somehow like go around the system and make a new profile. But you have to register your car. So I can't imagine how they could do that.
It's outrageous.
But it was outrageous, and I was so proud of my wife for having a little Annie Fry in her that day.
Yeah.
A little indignant.
Little witchiness.
How dare you?
Yeah.
How dare you? Did you try that?
I didn't ask, but I will. Is that what you would have done? Because we're all doing WWAD here. What would Annie do?
Oh, God. Not to be confused with what is the right thing to do. I mean, it's difficult because she's at work. But if it were here at work,
yeah.
I'd be like,
middle of the 1 o'clock hour, you're out of here.
Cameras rolling.
Yeah.
We're making content.
Wiggins, take over.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think I would try to get the food to acquire it from him, and I'd probably throw it in the trash on the way out because I wouldn't trust anything. Like anybody who was bringing me food who would be willing to do that, I would trust nothing from those people.
Exactly.
So
I did feel bad because she was starving by the time I was talking to her.
If there is a situation where a manager needs to get involved, I think that a manager needs to get involved in like 10% of the times that people think a manager needs to get involved. But if you have crossed that threshold for me, I'm pretty committed to the cause.
Yes. That's what I figured.
Yeah, I'm Uber eating popcorn to watch this play out.
I
like,
know.
how's this gonna go down?
Not DoorDashing, Uber Eats.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel the whole quote unquote Karen movement has overblown the idea that in this instance you have somebody who has figured out how to game the system and is taking advantage of you, extorting you literally for their own end. Like, you can't let that go. And DoorDash shouldn't want to let that go. They should want to be snuffing out those every single time they get. And the opportunity to do so, and they should be thanking people who bring it to the level of attention where they can do something about it. Because if I'm Katie, and that's not very quickly handled with some sort of compensation for, like you talked about the casino person where they won, how much money did they win?
$1.2 million.
And they wanted $1 million for suffering because whatever, you can go back to the 1245 segment to hear the whole story. I'm not really there for the $1 million in suffering, but I'm probably looking for some free DoorDashes for a while.
Yeah.
Out of that to earn to earn whatever you need to do to prove that DoorDash's goodwill is much greater than this really dramatically negative experience. Nothing more. I'm not going to hold somebody ransom the way I was held ransom, but if I got screwed, I've never DoorDashed anything, but I was it like a $5 fee, something?
I think it depends on
tip.
distance and cost a meal. But
I mean, whatever. I wouldn't think DoorDash would be waiving the tip for the driver, but the DoorDash fee, I would say that's going to be on DoorDash for your next 5 orders or something like that. And I think that would be fair.
I would take either $1.2 million. That would be fine.
Yeah.
Or I'd take one free DoorDash. Either way, and anything in between. But it is something that when we were talking about it at home, that is something that they really do need to address. They've got to know that loophole exists, and they need to address it.
Yeah, I think you need to have something to make good for the negative time and something good to show goodwill to bring you back for the future, whatever that seems to the company. Well, good for her for standing up for herself and even being willing to sacrifice the food to not participate in the extortion. It's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break. Do you support Harrison Butker, yes or no? Mike says absolutely support the guy. We need more like him. Betsy said absolutely without question. Agree, more like him. Russell said yes, support Harrison Butker. Don't we still have free speech in this country? Nothing wrong with anything he said. It's his views. And JR said he speaks the truth, Harrison Butker. All right, let us know what you think. We'll read more comments when we come back and give you the results on Harrison Butker. Don't go away.
With a souped up tempo, I'm on a roll. It's time to go solo.
This is the Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
No, I just drove, I kept on. Pursuing to the next stop. I bust a left and I'm heading to the next block. The block was dead, yo, so I continue to A1A.
The Retirement Advisor Group and Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, Tammy Kershaw. This is your team. These are the people who you can connect with when you are at that very important cusp of retirement. You are right there. It's about to happen. There are some smart moves that you need to make. They start with calling for a free retirement review. The Retirement Advisory Group, 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494. And tell them where you are, what you're looking to do, when you want to retire, what your goals are, what your dreams are. And then they do what they do. They build you a personalized structured income plan designed around what you have, what you need, and where you want to go. And then you get to enjoy that worry-free exhale that shows you've done what you need to do, you've taken care of business, and you've got a plan. 314-993-9494 to call and set up a free conversation. It's a no-obligation retirement review where you don't pay anything and you just listen to what they have to say and get it scheduled today. 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com.
Mark Cox here. Did you know that over half the appointments Window World will set this year are either previous customers or referrals from those customers? That tells you all you need to know about Window World. One thing that separates this company from the pack is that commitment to customer service and their excellent track record with both the Better Business Bureau and other reporting agencies. I am a satisfied customer. I love their lifetime warranty, and in just over 20 years of business, they've helped over 72,000 customers in St. Louis improve the look and the thermal efficiency of their homes. Right now, Window World is offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. That is a great deal. Call them right now. Get a free home estimate, 314-993-1800. They'll show you why they are simply the best for less. That's 314-993-1800, 993-1800, or go online to windowworld.com.
Mark Cox here. Did you know the Rockwood School District is a great place to work? They're currently hiring school bus drivers, cafeteria workers, and custodial staff, as well as summer positions for mowers and landscapers. They have openings in Adventure Club, which is before and after school care. They offer competitive pay, flexible work hours, and a rewarding work environment. Discover the Rockwood Advantage and join an amazing team. Go to rsdmo.org/jobs. That's rsdmo.org/jobs.
Tony LaRussa here. Men, are you running out of stamina rounding third base? If so, call my friends at Victory Men's Health in O'Fallon, Illinois. Scoring at home is important, just as important as crossing the plate with the winning run. VictoryMen'sHealth.com.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Do you support Harrison Butker, yes or no? It's a kind of open-ended question, so answer that however you'd like. It's the YouTube live chat poll of the day. It is 250 right now. We're going to give you the results of that poll here in just a minute, along with some comments. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. As we get going on this Monday afternoon, things have not gone very well for the prosecution in the Trump trial. Michael Cohen being exposed as even more a liar. That should come as no shock. We'll have the very latest coming up here after Fox News.
Wake up, little Susie, wake up. Wake up, little
You're listening to The Annie Fry Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Fry Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Fry Show. You got to get your vote in real quick before we wrap this up here. Do you support Harrison Butker? Yes or no, Ryan?
Yes.
Brad?
Yes.
Emphatically yes. Myself here. We've got some comments I want to read here. Frank says like 100 emojis. So that's an emphatic yes, I believe. Amy said, absolutely support him. The loss of traditional family values has absolutely aided in the degradation of this country into liberal madness. Is there anything that Harrison Butker said that is demeaning to women?
I was really trying to find it from a perspective that was not mine. And it really is only after you kind of spin yourself into it that you can come up with something that would be demeaning.
There's a lot of projection involved.
There's a lot of projection. And when you do that, you can come up with something, but you have to do that to have that.
To manufacture it.
Yeah.
If you want to be angry about something, you don't have to look too far in order to find a reason to be angry. But people didn't hear what he said. They heard what people said about what he said. And, here's the thing, folks. It's 2024. I probably was like an obnoxious little feminist the whole time I was growing up because nobody was going to tell me what to do and whatever. But I get to choose what I want to do.
That's the point.
There's no oppression here. And if I could make the income staying at home with my kids that I make being here, I would do that. But I can't. So I am here and I love what I do and it's fulfilling. And when I take time off to spend time with my family, I try really hard to take bigger chunks of time unless I'm doing something like specific. For instance, Wednesday, I will be off because my son is graduating. And so I'm going to take the day off to be with them for that last day of 8th grade at school and just help pick them up and enjoy that day with them. That's kind of a dutiful day off. If I'm taking vacation, by the time I get back, I'm like, let's go. Mm-hmm. What's going on in the news? I've been probably paying some attention to some extent, but I want to get back in there and I want to do it. And I have the ability to be able to make both things happen. My parents and my husband's parents are dramatically involved in helping make that the case for us. And both of the grandmas were career women. They both had jobs. They both worked, but they're very helpful in making it so that we can both work and make a living. Also, I mean, this is such a small amount of time to make a huge point, but the psychotic leftist progressive feminists have made it impossible to have a single income home and for women to stay home. And you wonder why the people who are like, you need to be at work, you need to be at work, you need to have a career, don't live by way of a man's paycheck, earn your own. As if this is somehow or another empowering. You're taking away women's choice to be able to stay at home when you make it unaffordable to be able to live on one income at home. And I don't know that this is a big part of it, but if everybody is working and everybody is making money, how many more dollars in taxable income is going into the government if everybody's working? Does it matter? I wouldn't put it past him. Hunter said, I hate the Kansas City Chiefs. Harrison almost makes me want to buy a jersey. Ender said, absolutely. This whole issue is sheer and utter nonsense and is actually extremely disappointing. Free speech is seriously no longer allowed on the left. The man gave his opinions. True?
Yeah, I mean, yes.
Yeah,
ultimately, yes.
It's true. And like you said, somebody got upset about something he didn't say and spun it up into something that it wasn't.
Scoot says, my impression of the speech was that it was singularly geared to praise his wife. Generally, commencement speeches should be broad rather than narrow. I do think it was to praise his wife. I do think the things that he said were very, very loving and an opportunity to raise up his wife for what his wife has done for their family, sacrificed along the way, but done so in a way that he was praising and complimenting. But I think it was an example of how other women could do the same thing. And I don't know how you could have like a guy who is a kicker for a successful career of being a kicker on an NFL championships football team and be like, this man is very successful. He's qualifying of commencement speech level stuff. What he's saying is he couldn't have that success if it weren't for her. Mm-hmm. He's traveling half of the Sundays a week when the NFL is playing. How much time is spent in practice and, the off season and working out. You can't have that lifestyle where somebody has the schedule that he has and have a family and have a wife that is going to be gone all the time without having to turn over those important responsibilities to somebody else to do.
I wonder if we ever hear from Butker's wife about this. I bet we do at some point.
Well, we asked all of you if you agree with Harrison Butker, and we've got like 250 votes in this poll, and 92% of you say you agree with him, which is emphatic. And I'm right there with y'all. Thank you for participating in that poll today. A reminder, if you wanted to see the Tulsi Gabbard interview, if you wanted to see it, if you didn't get to hear it on the Annie Fry YouTube channel, come say hi to us there and subscribe to the YouTube channel and keep up to date with everything we do on the radio. We also do a video along with it. You can always listen to us as well on the Odyssey app. And if you got 97.1 FM Talk running on the Odyssey app, keep it right here because Mark Reardon's going to be on there as well in just a minute.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon from my friends at Zero Res, and we love our homes, right? We want to take good care of our homes, and your home needs attention just like anything else. And year after year after year, let me give you an example. Dust and gunk builds up in the air ducts, and if you don't do anything about it, you do not have clean indoor air. That's why you should trust in the power of the pros at Zero Res to care for your home, whether it's the carpets or the ductwork. ZR Water is what they use on the carpets. Tough on stains and dirt, still safe for your family. Don't forget about the air ducts because this is a great time. People are sneezing like crazy. It's allergy season. Furnace and AC efficiency are very important post-winter. You can get a great deal right now at ZeroResSTL.com or when you call 314-474-2020. On the ductwork, $50 off your air duct cleaning. Make sure you mention my name. On the carpet cleaning, 3 rooms starting at $129. It's a great deal for the month of May. Tell them that I sent you over. Again, 314-474